Hello and a very warm welcome to the first ever Real Estate Connect, brought to you by nagrajhomes.com, turning your reality dreams into a dream reality. That's what it's all about at nagrajhomes.com. I'm Vijay Lakshmi and I'm so happy to see all of you all turn out here on a Saturday. Thank you for making us a part of your day. And of course, the Real Estate Connect is meant to be a one-stop shop to bring all of the different aspects of real estate to you under one roof, all that you would encounter in your life cycle as a homeowner. And that's starting with wanting to buy a home, to becoming a first-time homeowner, to becoming a seasoned homeowner, going through the process of upgrading, of downsizing, of remodeling, and also maybe going into investments, adding real estate to your portfolio of investments. And all through that, wondering how to finance and refinance your home, to insure it, and ultimately estate planning, how to make sure that you secure that asset and transfer it to your loved ones and beneficiaries. So it's all here. We have subject matter experts for you to pick their brains. And I'm sure at the end of the evening, or the afternoon rather, you'd go back very enriched with all of the guidance, all of the insights, all of the advice, and all of the connections that you make during today. And of course, I want to thank our grand sponsor, that's Catherine Pham of Golden One Credit Union right there. Give her a shout. Hi, Catherine. And thank you for that. And of course, this is the brainchild of none other than, you know who, Nagraj Anaiya, your trusted Bay Area realtor. Someone once said, a good realtor is equal parts marketer, negotiator, and magician. And I think that description really fits Nagraj, as his happy, satisfied clients would vouch for. And if there are any of them in the audience, I'd love for you to come up and share your experience of working with Nagraj, right? So Nagraj, wonderful, really kudos to you for putting all of this together in such a short time. What was the inspiration to do that?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I want this tone to be until the end of the show today. Not like dipping your energy out here. I promise you guys will not be bored. I'll be walking around. If you guys have any questions on buying and selling on the real estate, do please talk to me. And there are people around here also, experts around there. Please talk to them also on the mortgage, anything on the legal, anything on the real estate would be covered today.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, all of you who've come have been entered into raffles to win wonderful prizes, which will be announced at the end of the afternoon. And, in the meantime, we're going to get things rolling. And what better to get a perspective, get us off the ground, hit the ground running. We've got a very special presentation and a speaker, Anthony Herrera. He's here. He is a life coach. He is a US Navy veteran. And he knows how it's done. He knows a thing or two of how you need to get out of bed and get going before you even think of real estate. So welcoming Anthony. Please give him a big round of applause. Thank you, Anthony. Couldn't thank you enough for getting us started.
Thank you, Anthony, for joining in. I think in this tough Bay Area market, right, we need like you who sets a stone with a positive thinking. Right, buying a house or selling a house in Bay Area always needs a positive thinking. Nothing is impossible here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. No matter where you are in your business or in your life or how you categorize yourself, having a productive morning is very, very important. My name is Anthony Herrera. I am a life coach based out of San Francisco. Now, I have a lot of life experience, and I use this life experience into my coaching. And a lot of it is very unique experience, although I am young in life, but not in experience. Slide, please. What do I mean by uniqueness? So I use all this unique experience to my advantage. One unique experience that I had was being a prison guard in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. 2009 to 2010, I was a prison guard. I was humbled very quickly while being there. I'm on island for 9 months now. I'm training a new guard. I'm at Camp 4. What happens at Camp 4 is a very minimal security prison. All these detainees I'm watching, it's our turn to go to rec yard and to feed, to give dinner. So I'm here with the new guy. I give him the keys. So what you have to do is you have to bring the food out, open the key to the gate, put the food in, then we walk over to the center tower, open the gate, and all is well. No, it wasn't. He opened the door, left the key at the door. Now we're inside the gate where the tower is, stuck. So I'm like, hey, where's the key? Where's the key? He left it on the door. What do? I can't get it. I'm just going all these scenarios in my mind on what to do next. If one of these prisoners got this key, that's big, big trouble for me. So what do? I thought of the idea of using my knowledge on one of these detainees who loved playing soccer, because that's what you do in their rec yard. They exercise, they play soccer. One detainee particularly spoke a little English, loved playing soccer with his other brothers. He always asked me to do it. Nope, can't do it. Nope, can't do it. But today he was able to. His wish was being granted. So I called him over, told him the situation. My heart is racing. I'm so scared this guy is just going to grab the key and then he's just going to do whatever he needs to do. I don't know. Get me in trouble. So he walks over there, grabs some garbage, drops it by the door, leans down, grabs the garbage. I call him over, drops the garbage next to me like I'm talking to him, slips the key to me. Whew. Problem solved. My heart was racing, but all these lessons that I've learned in high intensive situations I use in my coaching. Not just being part of the US Navy, being part of the USS Simpson for 4 years, traveling to 32 countries, coming back, being a firefighter for the city of Geyserville up north for 5 years, six years, running a family business, now being a father of 2 boys, being married. All of these things I use into my coaching. I use with my clients. One of the first things I do with my clients is when we sit down and we have a conversation, I ask them right away, tell me about your morning. Let's audit your time. What is the first thing you do to start your day off? Really think about it in detail. And even all of you today, right now, really think about your morning, right when you wake up. I mean, I'm talking, what kind of alarm are you using? Is it very jaunting, very like a, and your heart is just racing, you're waking up kind of scared and frantic? Is that a way to wake up? I don't know. What's the next thing you do? Do you get up? Do you get dressed? Do you take a shower in the morning? What's the first thing you ingest when you wake up? Do you drink water? Do you even have breakfast? Me personally, I don't eat my first meal until 11 o'clock. But there's reasons for that. There's reasons for everything that I do. Maybe that will work for me, that works for me. Maybe it won't work for you. Is it part of your routine to figure out where you're going to wear in the morning or for the rest of the day? Is that part of your routine? What about your mental state of mind? Are you waking up with a positive attitude? Do you put on music? Is the first thing you accomplish of the day is making your bed? Think about it. All of these things lead up, priming your inner engine for the rest of your day. So what kind of momentum are you building for the rest of your day? Are you kind of regretting? Are you kind of like in a state of, another day, look at all these emails? Or maybe the first thing you do in the morning is you check your phone. You look at your social media. You're checking emails. You're already in that state of mind. So what are you really doing for yourself? So next slide. So right here, I have a list of some benefits of having a good morning routine. And then I'm going to talk about my routine. So right will influence the rest of your day. So think about your routine and think about how it influences the rest of your day. It lowers your stress level. So if you have a structured routine every morning that works for you, you have to think less about certain things. It's going to benefit you. It boosts your energy level. You feel more in control for the rest of your day. You increase your productivity. And you can develop healthy habits. And that's important. So can you lower it a little bit, the slide? Raise it then. Perfect. Okay. So my alarm, and this is all individually based on your day, what time you start work, if you have to commute somewhere, where you work, if you work from home or in an office, whatever it might be, or if you're an entrepreneur and it's all up to you. It doesn't matter. For me, my morning starts at 4:30 a.m. My alarm goes off at 4:15. I use this app called Sleep Cycle, and Sleep Cycle monitors my sleep. And when I give a range of time I want to wake up, it wakes me up at a precise time in my sleep where it's not jaunting. So my alarm starts off quietly and it gets higher and higher, lower and lower, higher and higher. So it's a gradual wake up. I'm not waking up like a firefighter like I did for 5 years with your heart racing and pumping and you're in a panic. It's not a good way to start your day. And then the first thing I do, I start stretching in my bed. Start moving my feet, moving my arms, my neck, my body. And then my feet are on the floor. My eyes are still kind of closed sometimes. And the one thing I do is I start moving my body back and forth, moving your spine. And I got that advice from a chiropractor. Because when we sleep and when we walk, we have a natural curvature in our spine. And when we sleep, it's kind of messed up. We're not sleeping properly. And that fluid in your spine needs to get moving first. So I do these exercises to wake me up. And it's important to me. The next thing I do, I get dressed. All of my clothes for the day, what I'm going to be wearing, is right there. So I'm giving myself less to think about. It's already thought about last night. Now, your nighttime routine is a different conversation. Maybe we can do that later. But when your clothes are all set up for you, my socks, my shoes, my shirt, my shorts, I work out in the morning. That's part of my routine. So I put on my gym gear, then my bathroom routine, and then the kitchen. In the kitchen, I have my lunch already prepared, another thing to not think about, and then I drink my water. And then I'm out the door. So by 4:45, I'm in the gym. 4:45, I'm in the gym. 30 to 40 minutes, that's all I need. It's kind of small, but you can kind of see in the top left corner, that's a picture of my gym. I'm lucky enough to have a gym where I work. So that's where I go. Do my routine. Now, if it's not part of your routine is working out, maybe yoga, stretching, something to get your body moving, your blood pumping. It helps. From there, I go up to our locker room, I get dressed, everything but my shoes. And then what I do, when I'm in this room where I know no one's going to be, I call it the mat room. So I'm in there by myself. I do a breathing technique. For about 15 minutes, I do this routine. And in matter of fact, let's put our forks down, let's put our phones down. We're going to do this for a second. We're going to try this. So please indulge me. We're going to try it just for a couple breaths, maybe 5. We're going to breathe with our bellies. We're going to breathe with our chest and our heads. Really deep. With your nose in, and when you exhale, just release. Don't force it out, just release. So in, out. In, release. Again, in, release. 2 more times. In, release. Again, in, and release. I do that for 30 breaths for 3 rounds. Now, it's something about breathing with intention, breathing with purpose, that is important. We don't do that enough. You don't think about breathing because you have something called an hypoxic drive in your body where you breathe naturally, on your own, without thinking. But it really balances my mind and my body for my day. So I took over the physical part. Now the breathing is mental and physical. So the next thing I do, I have about 20 minutes left till my routine is over. Then I have to start work. I journal. As a matter of fact, I brought it over there. It's on the table. With this journal, I start going over particular things that are on my mind. Whether it's a checklist on things to do, people I need to call, appointments, anything. Whatever, even a wish list, things you want to accomplish, goals, right? Have it on your list. Sometimes I use it just to write, just to vent, just to get things out of my mind and onto paper. Because a lot of the times we keep a lot of stuff in our minds. We talk to ourselves, but it's important to write things down. And that's important. The reason why it's important to have a balanced routine, because it's going to catapult you and your business to another level. What I mean by that, you got to remember, you come first. Your physical and mental state of mind needs to be a priority. When that happens, it will only reflect positively on your business. We're all business owners. We're all entrepreneurs. We dictate how successful our business is going to be. There's no ceiling of success. There's no limit to how far you can go. But if your mental state of mind and your physical state of mind isn't at a high level, you're only running your business, to me, in my experience, not at an efficient level. So it's important to keep balance. And also another reason why I have balance in my life, I have a family. I have 2 little kids. When I get home, they don't mind or care how tired I am or what kind of day I had. They want to play. They want to do all that stuff. They want to hang out with dad. I'm not going to deny them that. So the only time I have for me is 4:15 in the morning until I start work. So everybody's schedule is going to be different. Everybody's routine is going to be different. But I challenge you, you don't have to do what I do. You don't have to wake up at 4 in the morning. But think about your routine and think about how maybe you can change your routine. 1 or 2 things. Next slide. So right here, I just give you guys a homework assignment. Change 1 thing. Add 1 thing to your routine. Try it for a month. See how it goes. What is it going to hurt? You want to try to wake up a little earlier? You want to try meditation in the morning? You want to maybe not touch your phone. This is the first thing you do. Maybe you want to try making your bed in the morning. That's the first thing you do. Try setting out your clothes for the morning. Maybe that's what you do. Try something. And I want to know about it. So this is all my contact up here. My social media, @forwardguidance. My email, forwardguidancesf@gmail. And even my phone number. All up here. And if you want, I don't know if it'll work. You can try to take a photo. That's a QR code. You should be able to take a photo and it all should pop up. So I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see. So, any questions? Anything at all? Maybe you want to share 1 thing you want to change. Anybody have any ideas? In the back. I think that's fine. I don't drink coffee personally, so I don't have it. I'm not addicted yet, but coffee is something people use as a crutch, thinking they need it to wake up in the morning. But you really don't. Is something you enjoy, then go ahead. I don't see any issues with it at all. Okay, I think that's good for now, but if you want to share, go ahead. Say that again? Oh, how? That's a good question. How to get in an exercise routine. I can be very blunt, and I'm going to be. No matter what fitness level you are, you don't need any kind of fancy equipment. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need any of that. You need shoes. That's it. You can get outside, start hitting the pavement, start a routine. Even if it's just walking, maybe it's a run, maybe it's a little jog, maybe it's stretching, maybe it's yoga, maybe it's Pilates, maybe it's whatever. Just try it. See something that works for you, because I feel it's important to move your body. We're meant to move, not to sit down on a chair all day. So again, come say hello, contact me. It was up there. But thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. We got a lot of great speakers coming up. And I hope I was able to give you a little bit of an idea on what you can do to start a different mindset and get a balanced life, because that's important for your business. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was Anthony Herrera, and what great points, right? And all of the rats that we get into, we have to take that time to step back and get the routine in place, get it consistent, and things will just fall in place after that. So that was an aha moment right there. Hope you appreciated that. And again, there are all our subject matter experts at the back too. Loan Factory and Golden Credit Union is there. And all of this, you can go and talk to them. There are people amongst us also, so do that. And if you want to sign up or be entered in the raffle for the watch, Apple Watch, you have to go and meet Catherine Pham right there and enter your name. So be sure you do that. And someone once said that home is where your story begins, right? So to talk about the path to home ownership, we have another very special speaker, and that's Nidya Angulo. She is a mortgage banker with Bank of the West, and prior to Bank of the West, she was mortgage branch manager with Bank of England. So her specialty is a variety of loan products and scenarios. So welcome, Nidya. Please come up and get us on the path to home ownership. Oh yeah, there you are. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming this morning for Saturday. I think it's a great way to spend your extracurricular time whenever you're using it to learn something new, right? I'm going to go over a little bit about the initial steps through the home ownership process. I believe there are more than a handful of people here who've already gone through this process, and they're probably here to look more into other ideas as well, as far as like second homes or investments. So I'll get into just a tad bit of that. But just to start, I've passed out a couple of these folders, and you can take some notes in there. It has some very nice basic information about the general process and what some of the terms are in the world of mortgage banking. Since you'll hear them over and over, it's easier to see them sometimes in person. So let me go through the next one. One more. Thank you. So some of the foundations of home ownership is things that sometimes we don't always take into account, but the way it brings a different type of energy, it has a pride in the sense of home ownership, right? When you have your own home, you can add your own special touch to the place and not worry about maybe what the landlord is going to think about the changes or renovations that you want to make. You can really build a foundation there or a sense of community. It's also financially a long-term idea as far as an investment, because you're going to build equity the longer that you're there. Yes? Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? Okay. Sorry about that. I was going through some of the benefits of it. The first one being that pride of ownership, the pride of being able to make any renovations or changes to the home, right? And really making it your own. The sense of over time building that financial profile with equity, right? And the sense of community. You can build roots in your neighborhood, or even with the schools. Sometimes that's really important. It gives the children a sense of placement and personal achievement, just reaching those goals. And some of these are really important as well for investors, because investing is also a sense of personal achievement. It can be something that you can do continuously, and it becomes almost like a second career. And I find that a lot of people who make that not just a hobby, but they really enjoy it, and they always feel the same sense of excitement when they buy their next investment home as they do when they buy even their own personal homes. Some of the simple ideas to getting into home ownership in any situation is going to be understanding your credit. Really keeping an eye on your profile. I'm not a credit expert, so if you have specific questions, it's always a good idea to consult with someone who does have more information about how to raise your credit score, right? The one thing that a mortgage banker can help you with is understand what the requirements are for the FICO. One thing that comes up extremely often, and I always explain this to my clients, is there's a really big difference between what you will pull up or what you'll see when your bank or your credit card company sends you like your score, right? It's really exciting. Like your score went up a couple points, and now it's might be 780. But the way that the ratios are looked at for home lending is actually very different. We're going to look at FICO, and most of the time it'll be about 20 points lower than what you're seeing on a very basic website. So it is important when your mortgage banker pulls your credit to go over that with them and see why it looks so different than maybe what American Express has listed for you on their website. Because they calculate that differently. Determining what you can afford. One of the things about the mortgage payment, it's not always the rate. Sometimes it's the payment that you feel comfortable with. Because even if you can afford a very high payment, but if your lifestyle in general does not fit properly with that payment, because you like to have a certain amount of excess amount to go towards your savings or recreation, you want to make sure that the payment is something that you're happy with in any type of market, whether it's a good market or a bad market. The payment, as long as you're happy and you're comfortable, that's really what you want to focus on. Understanding the mortgage loan options, that's usually at the beginning, and it's something that the mortgage banker can go over with you. Pre-qualifying versus pre-approval, we'll go into that, and then finding a home is something you want to go through with your agent, because they're going to know exactly what neighborhood you want and what type of home that you need. Yes, especially if you're looking for something where you want to put your roots down, then yes, 100%, because that's also going to determine when you speak with your mortgage banker if you want to do something as small as a 3-year ARM or a 30-year fixed, right? Because if you're looking at this as a quick investment or something that's more of a stepping stone to your next home, you're not planning to be there maybe more than 5 years, then why would you take a 30-year fixed when in reality, you'd probably do much better with a 3 or 5 year arm. However, if maybe it's the rates are really great and you're planning to stay there for at least 10 years or so, then you might want to look at a more of a fixed option. So yes, that does matter. It matters what your plans are. And that's why you want to have that conversation with your lender, which we'll go into, right? Having that, it's kind of like a friendship with your mortgage lender so that they not only understand your finances, but your goals. And they can set you up with that path. So understanding your credit is, like I said, something that everybody should be aware of what their credit profile looks like. And this just gives you a little bit more idea about what the scores, the percentages should be. But again, it's going to vary for everyone. Go ahead. And you can always get a free credit report once a year. So if you just go on that website, once a year they'll give you a free one so you don't have to sign up for any of the services that have the monthly fees. It's, simple things like make your payments on time, make your credit card payments, keep your ratios low. And but part of the credit as well that's important is when you're looking for a mortgage lender or you're looking for a house. That's why it's so important to go to a bank or a mortgage lender first, because your credit might need to be tweaked a little bit. So they might need, a month or a couple days, a couple weeks, it just depends. That conversation, you want to give yourself a little bit of time if there's anything there that needs to be worked on, and that way it doesn't catch you by surprise and you're already excited about a new home. The sources for the down payment, the great thing is you can really go from, it just depends on the type of mortgage or product that you're looking at. There are products where you'll get 105% financing, right? There's some that are 3%, which is more usual. But it's gonna depend on each person. One of the things that Bank of the West has that's very particular, especially for their jumbo products, is you can do, I think it's like up to $4 million and do 100% gift. So none of the down payment has to come from the borrower. It can come from a relative. And that's on our portfolio products. So I think that's pretty unique, because usually they want to see that the borrower has their own their own down payment. But in some situations it doesn't work that way. Sometimes family steps in and helps out, and so that's one of the great things. You don't have to, if you don't need to, you don't have to come out of pocket. And there are some down payment assistance programs as well for new home buyers. Some are from the state, some come from the banks. But it'll be a little bit different for everybody. Some of the items you'll see in the book, it goes over the different mortgage terms, like debt to income ratios, things like what's included in the closing costs, what are the escrow reserves. You'll see that in that little booklet that I handed out, because it's quite a bit of information. But this is basically just what you would discuss with your lender up front once they look at your profile. So we'll just keep going. there's a big difference between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval. We always try to strive for a pre-approval. I think I have to wrap it up really quick. And like I said, we have a lot of really great products. I'm going to close it up so that the next speaker can come on. But one thing I just want to mention that's also unique for Bank of the West is our 80-10-10, 10% down up to 1.5 million, and then I believe it's up to 2.5 million. You could do like 15% down. We have if you have a high ratio for debt, we work with that up to 10 million with a 60 debt to income. And also, we have a wide variety of visas that aren't always available. Some are for example, people with extraordinary abilities like in business and sciences. You can always contact me and I can check to see if it's on the list, but I know that I've had a couple of clients with very unique situations, and because we hold a lot of the portfolio products, we're very easy with our exceptions. In general, our process is pretty friendly. So thank you so much for your time. I hope that you enjoy the rest of the conference, and if you have questions, I'll be back there, and I'll be more than happy to answer anything also over the phone or via email. Thank you.
Thank you, Nidya, for spotlighting all of those simple but very strategic things that you need in your journey into real estate. And talking about real estate, all of you all are here. I'm sure you've heard Nagraj Anaya, your trusted Bay Area realtor. So wherever you are at in your journey, you want to start, you want to check out nagrajhomes.com. That's the one-stop shop for all things real estate, buying, selling, investing, financing, refinancing. And he also happens to be a broker as well, mortgage broker, so he brings that part of the equation to the situation as well, so that you go into it fully equipped. So, make sure you check that out. And of course, I hope you're all listening to our weekly show on Sundays on Bolly 92.3. It's called Real Estate Roundup, on all that's hot, happening, and trending in the real estate market. So hope you checking that out. It's at 12:30 p.m. every Sunday. So make sure you catch us there. And of course, now that you have your home, it's imperative that you take that step towards estate planning, where you can protect your assets and then transfer that wealth to your heirs and beneficiaries. And to tell us more about that is Snehal Patil. He's right here. He's the founder and managing attorney of Indus Counsel. He's an experienced Silicon Valley attorney with over 20 years of experience representing startups, emerging growth, and Fortune 500 companies in US and India transactions, and estate planning, which means wills and trusts, business and family succession. So I'd like to welcome Snehal to join us and to give us some of that wonderful knowledge all about estate planning, which we South Asians tend to ignore. So welcome and thank you.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I hope all of you can hear me clearly. Happy to be here, and thank you, Nagraj, for having me over. As Vijayalakshmi pointed out, estate planning. Unfortunately, socially, culturally, Indians, I would say, are not always thinking of estate planning until you're really old, because I guess it's ingrained in us that we don't want to talk about death or anything about death. And my apologies, with all the nice morning we had, I'm going to talk about some of the downsides of life, right? Because where there's life, there is death. Now let's understand what is estate planning. Simple words. Estate planning means you're planning for any uncertainties that may be caused by death or incapacity, right? So two scenarios: death, incapacity. Those are the two reasons why you want to plan your life better. So while you're alive, there's somebody to look after you. And after you're gone, you seamlessly transition what you have to your next generation, right? Or to whoever you want to give your wealth to. A few misnomers. The word estate planning many times bothers me because I think it conveys the wrong impression. It conveys the fact that it's only about an estate. about assets, right? And somehow it conveys the impression that you got to be rich. You have to have a house or you have to have a certain million or a multi-million dollar wealth. No, that's not true. Estate planning is much more than about your assets. It's about you. Remember, your biggest asset is also you as your physical body, your children, right? Now, when we talk of estate planning, think of it as three verticals. First vertical, distribution of your assets after your death to your beneficiaries without it going through a court process. You want to distribute your wealth privately. When it goes through a court, that court process is called probate. Number of downsides to probate, and we'll discuss that in a minute. So number one, transition wealth seamlessly to your next generation. Second, if you're parents of minor children, which means any child under 18 years of age, you want to ensure that if something happens to you as parents, either you're in a hospital or a medical condition, a lot of it happened during COVID especially, and or unfortunately you pass away and they're under 18, unlike India, in this country, your children will end up in foster care. And that's not what you want to do, right? Even if you have an adult family member at home, let's say your grandparents or your parents are there, which means the grandparents for the children, or an adult sibling, they cannot take care of them. The child will still end up in foster care. So number two, setting up guardianship, right? Number three is taking care of your own self. By that I mean, if you are medically unfit, mentally incapacity, right? Due to any reason, you go in a coma, vegetative state, or general mental imbalance due to health issues, then during your incapacity, you want to ensure that there are people who can access your financial and medical information and be able to make your financial and medical decisions. Surprisingly, a lot of people don't know this, especially amongst Indians, because we assume that what happens in India happens here. Unlike India, where we all know that not only our families but relatives, many times even neighbors and friends can make our decisions, in the US, even your spouse can't make your decisions without legal authorization. Forget making decisions, the spouse can't even access your information. Okay? So when we talk of estate planning, think of all these scenarios. Will it impact you? Of course it's going to impact you. Do you need to be rich? No, you don't need to be rich, right? Another very important distinction that I would like to draw, which again is, I guess, very relevant, especially for this audience, but for any immigrant for that matter. Legal systems back home are different than legal system in the US. For instance, if you have assets in India and you have assets here, what kind of estate planning do you do, right? Do you do estate planning as per US law? Do you do it as per Indian law? Or you try to divvy it up where you do the US side on the US estate planning, India as per Indian laws, right? So some of these issues, obviously, you want to consult a trained person. Now, I'll very quick about my own background, maybe so that you have a better understanding of what skill sets I and my firm bring to the table. So I'm licensed to practice in India. I'm licensed to practice here. I've been practicing 20 plus years. Much of it was at the very top law firms like global law firms, right? 600,000 attorney firms. I was a partner at a national law firm. Before I set up Indus Counsel, think of Indus Counsel as my own startup legal contribution in the Valley, right? I've been practicing it, Indus Counsel, for about 10 plus years. We are based in Fremont, but happy to connect with all of you. You may have heard me on the radio as well. Now, when we specifically speaking about home, right? That's a huge asset. When you buy that asset, if possible, try and get a trust set up well before the process starts. So that ideally, you can buy the asset in the name of the trust. But let's say if you have an existing home, right? Then what you want to do is ensure that at least as soon as possible, set up a trust and then have the title transferred to the trust. How does that help you? One, It will help you if you are incapacitated. Remember, if you're in hospital or you're not making decision, you're on the title, you can't refinance, right? You cannot have a home loan on it, or you cannot transfer anything, right? There could be scenario that could happen that could require maybe for paying medical bills. You can't do any of that. Unfortunately, if you pass away, you want to ensure that that house goes to your next family members, right? Another important thing which may be relevant from a real estate perspective, maybe you have some money now, you bought one house and you're looking to buy investment properties. It doesn't have to be you alone as a close-knit. Many times it's very common in the valley, for instance, for friends and office colleagues and others to band together, like what we call co-ownership. Now, how do you ensure that your portion of the ownership ends up in your trust, right? Another very important thing from a legal perspective is what you want to ensure is that when it comes to your home, that's a personal asset. But when it comes to your investment property, that's a business venture. Business ventures always have business risks, right? You're a landlord, somebody sues you. Not many people know that who can sue you? Not always a tenant. It could be a visitor on the property. It could even be a trespasser. Somebody who had no legal right to be there, but gets injured on your land, they can still come after you. Now, how do you ensure that that business risk doesn't go after your personal assets, right? So what we create is what are called rental LLCs, right? So those are another flavors that one should think when we buy real estate. Okay, what is the purpose? Is it for personal assets? It's a business asset? Is it co-owned, etc., right? So some of these issues, my whole thought, or if I can even sow some seeds in your minds about what you need to think, that there are issues that you need to discuss, I think that's the biggest part. It's educating our community to understand some of the nitty-gritties or variances so that you can start thinking about this and planning. Other than that, I mean, obviously, like I said, there are other flavors to estate planning, which is the guardianship. Another very important thing is if you have adult children, not many people realize that whether you're 18 or you're 100 years old, you're still an adult. Which means the minute your child, let's say if he was 17 years and 11 months or whatever, you have a legal right to make decisions as parents. The minute the child turns 18, you lose that legal right. Oddly enough, that child will have to create their own legal paperwork to authorize you as parents to make their decisions should something happen to them. How many Indians know that? Not many. We don't even assume, right? So some of these things. My contact details, I know I could have prepared better by having some slides, etc. But the name of my law firm is Indus Counsel. We are based in Fremont. Indus is short form for India, US. Counsel as in lawyer, COUNSEL. On my website, you will find my coordinates, my email ID, phone number, etc. I would be happy to take any questions if there are any. Sure. Sorry, you said beneficiaries are minors. Okay, so a little bit of, let me clarify some of the things there. When you set up a trust, you have three stakeholders. First one is the creator of the trust. If you're married couples, you typically set up a joint trust because most married couples, their goals are aligned in terms of how you hold your assets during your lifetime and how you want to distribute those after your death, right? So creator. Second are the recipients, what in legal parlance we call beneficiaries, people who are going to receive your wealth. And need not be individuals, it can be charities also, right? For most people, that's your immediate family, but you would think beyond your immediate family could be extended. Parents, siblings, uncles, aunts, nephews, nieces, could be strangers also, and could be charities also, right? That's the second. Third is the managers. For trust, that logical person is a trustee, right? Now, when it comes to beneficiaries, they can be anywhere in the world, they can be any age. That's why your minor children, whether they are in the US or India, or your minor relatives could be beneficiaries. When it comes to management, management requires legal capacity, which means 18 and above, right? So purely from a beneficiary perspective, there's no issue. You can designate anyone. When it comes to management, unfortunately, the way it works, if you think of the three verticals, for a trust, because this trust that we set up is a US trust, so you need to have US managers or what are called US persons, which means anybody who's in the US. If not, your trust will become a foreign trust, and the IRS has very stringent regulations about regulating a foreign trust, because the last thing IRS wants is those assets end up outside the US without payment of due taxes to the US government. So to answer your question, beneficiary is no issue, but maybe you may have been sort of thinking about managers also, which is trustees. Those trustees will need to be in the US. Now, we work with several clients who have fresh H-1Bs, for instance, who don't have friends or families here. What my general guidance to the clients is, see, most people set up what is called a revocable living trust, which means it's malleable during your lifetime. Do whatever best you can given your current limitation. Don't wait for a perfect solution. Just like when you buy a house, you don't look for the perfect house. You buy based on your requirements, whatever you can afford, and then you go and buy another one if you prefer, right? Same way with the revocable living trust, set it up with whatever best solution you can come up with today, and you can always revector it a few years later. Maybe you now have more relatives or friends or other things, right? So, are there any other questions? Sure, go ahead. Good question. So, India, as we know, is a unified legal system, right? One set of laws typically govern throughout India. In the US, think of every state as a separate nation for legal purposes. California has its own laws, Nevada has its own laws, Texas has its own laws. Estate planning is just like the federal political structure here is a state subject, which means me as a California licensed attorney, I can only represent California residents in their estate planning. You can have assets anywhere in the world or anywhere. You can have investment properties outside California, that is fine. What your residency is what matters. Now, typically, general rule of thumb, never mix cross-border assets, right? There will always be tax and other implications. Do set up your US assets to go under a US estate plan, which means a US trust. Indian assets do as per Indian law. And generally most people would be aware because, many of us saw movies, etc., where we saw the wasiyat and the wakil comes and, opens on the deathbed, etc. So in India, it's a will that generally you use. In the US, it's a trust that is used. Why? Because if you only have a will in the US, it will end up in probate, it will end up in court. By the way, not many people realize the probate costs are a percentage of the gross value of your assets. Gross means it doesn't matter how much mortgage you have on the property. Let's say you bought a house for $1 million, worth $1 million in the market value. You have a 600K loan on it at the time of your death. You think your net is the 400. That's not how the government thinks. Like all governments, they want a better stake of your pie. They think 1 million is the value of your asset. So we are going to tax you based on 1 million. Even the courts will charge you fees based on 1 million, not on 400,000. And the fees are percentage starts at 4%, tapers down to 0.5% in slabs. On the first $1 million of your estate, probate cost itself will be $46,000, right? Now think of it, $46,000, what do you want to spend? And with our prices here in the Bay Area, everybody is a millionaire here when it comes to gross assets. If you have a house, no brainer. Even if you don't have a house, most people, if you are working couples, would have a good chunk of assets, right? So on the US side, set up a trust. On Indian side, the will Also, another reason is, if assets in India, there is any issue with them, any distribution, any other things, it will end up before an Indian government authority or an Indian court. Are they bound by a US legal document? Of course not. Besides that, there could be other problems also trying to enforce a US legal document. So generally keep those separate. And we do that. We do Indian estate planning right from here. So you don't need to go to India. We can take care of the Indian estate planning as well. Right? I saw some question at the back. Oh yes, go ahead. Sure. Good question. So the question is how to manage private company stock through a trust. Now it depends what kind of a private company is it. Is it something that you set up, like your own startup contribution, or is it you're working at a startup, right? Either way, private companies don't issue stocks through a brokerage account, which means it's directly issued to you. Concept is the same. It doesn't matter whatever assets you own, they should ideally be held by your trust, because anything that is outside of the trust is subject to probate, which means it's subject to the cost, subject to the timeline and the stress, etc. Typical pattern for stocks is to have an assignment of the legal ownership. Assignment is just a legal terminology or jargon, which basically nothing means that the ownership of that asset or the underlying stock here is owned by your trust. Now the revocable living trust, simple term, think of it as your shadow. Like any shadow, it doesn't have an existence while you are alive. The minute you pass away, it begins an existence of its own. Why it's critical? Operationally, it doesn't change anything. Okay? But on the flip side, it also doesn't mean that if you put things in the trust, you are somehow you're now secure, right, for any personal damages, etc. So that's generally you want to keep in mind. Sorry, go ahead. Okay. Sure. Now, obviously, a tax, as you can imagine, is a minefield, right? And when oftentimes I get a question, okay, what's the tax impact? You have to understand which tax are you talking about, right? Now, in a estate planning context, broadly, two types of taxes, right? Income taxes and estate taxes. Income tax planning is totally a different animal in itself, right? Let's stick to estate taxes. What does estate tax mean? Tax that your estate, nothing but your wealth, will pay after your death. Many people call it death tax also, right? Now in the US, the way it works, if you're a US citizen, estate tax federal limit, exemption limit is extremely high. Currently it's at about 25 million, north of $25 million, which means you need to have assets, and that's a combined for husband and wife, but half of that for an individual, at least a $12+ million estate before you have to worry about estate tax planning, right? So for most people, you are under that bracket if you're a US citizen. If you're not a US citizen, you could be taxed at 40% of your wealth. That's a huge number. Now for that kind of where you're not a US citizen, and unfortunate reality, you're an H1, etc. It takes forever to get to citizenship, right? There's something called a Q dot, a qualified domestic trust that you can set up to offset some of the taxes. But that will only be a delay in payment of taxes, not a complete write-off. Because one way or the other, harsh reality of life, government will get you, right? Like they say, death and taxes are the only two certain things in life. So, right? The constants in life, absolutely. I mean, nothing is going to change, right? So yeah, go ahead. Okay, the trade-off between revocable and irrevocable trust, I'll answer that very quickly before the next speaker can come in. Revocable, as the word suggests, malleable. Irrevocable, can't be changed. Does that mean it's set in stone? No. Loose analogy, think of your 401k and IRA. When you set it up, what the government says, hey, if you want certain tax benefits, then we want you to be bound by a finite structure. Does that mean that you can't make hardship withdrawals? We all know that there are hardship withdrawals, but there's still penalties to that. Same concept. Irrevocable trust is set up only for certain reasons. Two major reasons. One, tax planning. If you have wealth above a certain threshold, then you want to set up irrevocable trust. Maybe you want to protect your home. Maybe you have other high-risk business activity. That's one reason. Another reason is if you are parents of a special needs child, a developmentally disabled person, right? So again, the same concept, because parents of those children or dependents get state benefits because of their disability. So again, the flip side, the government wants a certain finite structure. So I would say almost everybody sets up a revocable living trust because you can change it as your life situation changes without any impacts. Set up a irrevocable trust only when there is a genuine legal or a tax need for it. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate. Thank you, Nagraj, again.
Thank you so much, Snehal, for joining in such a short notice. Thank you. We'll go with Angelina.
Yes, thank you, Snehal. That is really eye-opening. I think all of us were like speechless because a lot of things not considered, avoiding probate, keeping the pie to ourselves and not letting Uncle Sam get it, and so many things, right? So thank you for doing this for the community. That's a great service indeed. And now, once you have the real estate and you have to sign the documents, do you always wonder, are you doing it right? And what are really the tips and tricks to a perfect signing? Well, we're going to learn more about that from Angel Nguyen, and she is a local mobile notary right here in the South Bay, as well as nationwide signing service. So she's here. Welcome, Angel.
Hi, everyone. Oh my God, I'm so excited to be here. I'm going to have my phone here as my little note card. But it's so great to be lunching and learning with everyone about this crazy housing market that we love and hate. Thank you, Nagraj, for putting this event together. You know, the man has been working so hard for you guys to put this together. And so this presentation was created for buyers and sellers and borrowers who are working with Nagraj to have the perfect signing. You know, as a notary who's been doing over 2,000 transactions, you learn a thing or two, and then I just wanted to give you guys a couple tips on how to have a smooth and pleasant signing. Okay? Does anyone know what a notary is? I'm going to choose on you. I'm going to pick on you if no one says anything. You in the red shirt, what do you think a notary is? Exactly. So someone who's authorized to, work with a title company, they're authorized by the state, and just think of notary as a witness. Sorry, am I talking too loud? As a witness. That's the simplest way to think of a notary, a witness. And you can just go to the next slide. Yeah, so that's the official term, keyword witness, for huge transactions like buying a home. Right? The lender wants to make sure I'm lending to this person. I'm not committing fraud. So we need to have a notary there to watch you sign. You can go to the next one. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about the 5 secrets to a happy signing. So the first one would be you have to request the documents. You have to. Escrow is not going to give you the option to look at your documents ahead of time. You have to ask them. Why wouldn't you want to look at your loan and escrow documents ahead of time, right? You want to make sure the interest rate is correct. Your names are spelled correctly. The loan amount is correct, right? You want to know how much money you need to bring. Do you need to give the cashier check to your notary? Do you want to have that ready, right? These are all the things that you need to have prepared before the signing. And what I like to do is before I go to the signing to meet with you to sign your documents, I'll call you ahead of time and let you know, hey, have you received a soft copy of your documents? And do you have 5 minutes so we can go through the deed of trust, the first payment letter, the estimated settlement statement? I want to make sure all those are correct, because if they're not, then we can at least correct it before I get there, right? So you can go to the next one. And then, so your notary should be able to clearly tell you when we're signing. So, as you're buying more properties, it can be confusing. Like, am I meeting, so let's say you're buying investment property, right? Am I meeting you at the investment property? I'm meeting you at Starbucks. Where do you want to meet? It's up to you. You tell the escrow officer where you want to meet, right? It's really up to you. A lot of people, they're like, oh, maybe we just sign at home at the title office. It's up to you. And if you don't make that clear with the notary, there will be problems. Because I've seen it before where the notary will show up to the investment property instead of their home. So always want to make sure, be very clear and have everything on text. I always like to confirm after the phone call, hi, it was great meeting or great chatting with you, and we're going to meet here at this time. So next one, please. Oh, stay here. So yes, so after you receive the documents from your notary or the escrow officer, you want to ask all of your questions to your real estate agent beforehand. Like, why is the commission fee to you this percentage? Or to your loan officer, why is my interest rate this high, right? Or some other questions that I've seen to the loan officer is, how high could my rate go when the 7 years are up, right? And then, or a tax professional, let's say you're a seller and you're selling your property, right? What are the tax implications? You don't want to wait until you're with the notary to ask tax questions, because as a notary, we cannot advise the real estate agent. You shouldn't ask them. They're not licensed to speak about taxes. And don't ask the escrow officer. They cannot tell you. They're just a middleman. Think of an escrow officer as a police officer who's just making sure everyone's doing what they say they will do on the contract, okay? That's escrow, nothing more. And then you go to the next slide, please. And then number 4. So yes, if you're planning to get married soon before you buy your house, wait, let me go back on that one. But if you're getting married, you have to make sure that your ID that you present to the notary matches the name in the documents. I've seen it many times where I get to the signing and the person told me, no, I don't have my ID yet, it's coming in the mail. And you know, at that point, what would you do, right? So you would have to get 2 credible witnesses. Just 2 people like your neighbors or your friends to come over to provide me ID, and I just ask them, okay, do you have financial interest in this transaction? Are you involved in any way? No? Okay, great, I'll take your IDs. You're vouching for this person that they don't have ID and it's difficult for them to get ID at this time. And they just can't get ID right now to prove this name in the documents. So that's what we would have to do. That's something you can keep in the back of your mind too in case you're in that situation. All right, and then number 5, so this one, I've come across this so many times where, and I'll give you an example. So I was at a signing where the parents, so there was husband and wife, and mom was on the transaction, on the loan, right? And I couldn't speak to the mom in Punjabi. And I had to stop the signing because I need to be able to tell her what she's signing. Your notary needs to be able to tell you what you're signing. They cannot say, oh, I'm just a notary. They have to give you a general explanation. It's a huge transaction, right? Buying a home, you need to know what you're signing. So if you're planning to buy a home and one of the signers does not speak English or speaks a certain language, make sure the notary speaks that language. I need to be able to speak to you clearly. All right, so now you know the 5 secrets to a happy signing. I see some familiar faces in here that I've signed, signed a couple people in here. So if you have any signings coming up, any closings, and you want an amazing signing where you can take pictures of you guys, maybe a video testimonial for Nagaraj, because I know you're going to work with him, then definitely let Nagaraj know, and then we'll all get connected. Thank you for your time, everyone.
Thank you so much, Angelina.
Thank you, Angel. That was great. And, tax breaks, who doesn't love them, right? So 1031 is one such tax break. But what is it, and, what does it do for you? How can you defer your capital gain, wealth, really, and build the wealth? So we're going to learn more about that. This is a Zoom presentation that's going to be set up soon, and that's Ron Rickard. He is the VP and Regional Account Manager for IPX 1031, a designated certified exchange specialist with over 20 years of experience helping people understand the nuances of the 1031 exchange rules. So over to you, Ron. Ready? Can't hear. Yeah, yeah, great. Go ahead, all yours. Can he be louder actually?
I think we have some issues with sharing it. You can go ahead with that. I'll share the slides later, Ron. We have issues sharing the screen here, but you can go ahead. Yeah, yeah. We have it. Yeah, we have the first slide. Yep. Yeah, yeah, go ahead. You guys can come over here.
Yes, we're sorry, the volume is a little low for the Zoom, but you all could just come by the, computer right there and we can listen to it further if you, about the 1031 exchange. Sorry about that. That was a really good presentation, but volume wasn't good. But so now let's turn our attention to immigration and, of course, closely related with real estate in more ways than one. And we're going to learn about ways and means to secure and fast track your green card. And to do that, I'd warmly welcome Swati Khandelwal. She's the principal attorney at the law offices of Swati Khandelwal, based in San Jose. And she's been practicing immigration law for over 15 years now. She's been recognized as a super lawyer, rising star, top 40, under 40 immigration attorney in California. And, and she's also a CPA. So that's amazing. That's a double whammy right there. So welcome, Swati. And before that, Nagraj, you want to tell us something about it?
I know Shweta personally from last 8 years. When I came to US 8 years back, I was also came like you guys in H1B. I was not sure where to start. How do I get my green card faster? The first person I thought about reaching out is Shweta. She guided me so well, like I was able to get a green card in less than a year. A lot of people think green card is tough, but you need to reach out to a right people, so that they can guide you. Thank you, Shweta, for coming in. It's all yours.
Thank you, Nagaraj. I don't think I need to say more about what I do after that really nice, glowing introduction. So yeah, one thing is, sorry, Vijayalakshmi, my name is Shweta. Okay, yeah, just it's spelled without the H, but I write the H. So yeah, I guess the connection between immigration and green card is, apart from the love-hate that we have with both topics, to me, the connection is stronger than you think, because the first thing is, I would think that the faster you get your green card, the more secured your estate purchase is, right? Like think about like what is happening right now with the layoffs and stuff. I mean, you don't want the H1B sword always hanging on your head for 20, 30 years or maybe 90, I don't know. How does that EB-23 line move? So that to me is the biggest connection. That fast track it, and then maybe Nagaraj would not agree here, but maybe divert the funds first towards the green card and then towards the house. I mean, and even if you have a property, you can actually leverage it to fast track your green card. So it's a both way, it's a two-way connection. It's just one. You've got enough information about what I do. As I said, I'm an immigration attorney. I've been practicing here for more than 15 years. I've actually kind of navigated this whole immigration journey myself. Came on an H4, I moved to an F1, did an OPT, then did the H1B, then kind of did the green card, and I fought some really tough battles while I was doing this. I actually had a terrorism-related inadmissibility ground on my green card, which, except for my husband, everybody thought was a serious issue. But anyways, I'm here, and my sort of goal is to see how I can help you achieve that sort of American dream. So can we move forward, please? Next slide, next slide, next slide. Yeah, that's a disclaimer that I have to share. Next slide. Okay, so the structure is pretty simple. We all know what the issue is, right? The problem here is we've seen the upgrades, the downgrades, the retrogressions. That's not new news for us. And we know what the wait times are. My plan here is to kind of suggest ways to see how you guys can jump the EB2, EB3 queue. Before I do that, just want a sense of how many people are waiting for their green cards. Like a decent number, right? I'm guessing some of you may have filed the adjustment and are now waiting because of the retrogression. Some of you may still not have your priority dates current. So we'll kind of figure that out as we'll move towards we'll address these issues as we speak. Basically, the focus of my presentation is on 3 topics, okay? And these are, in my opinion, the fastest ways that you can do as an Indian-born national to get your green card, okay? And I'm assuming here maybe most people are born in India, so that's sort of the bases here. We have the EB1A, we have the national interest waiver, and we have the EB5. These are the three topics that I'm going to touch on, and with specific reference to the EB5, because it's honestly a highly underrated option to get your green card. And there have been some major legislative changes in the EB5 program that happened in May 2022, which means this year. And they've been the biggest congressional improvements in immigration law in over a decade, okay? So when I say congressional, I mean the actual legislation, which is different from just these half-assed attempts to sort of solve the immigration problem. Okay, can we go to the next slide? This pretty much summarizes the sad, pathetic situation that we have for the EB2 and the EB3 green cards, right? You have priority dates, you have the upgrades, the downgrades, the EB3 faster, EB2 faster. Should I move from EB2 to 3? Now get back to EB2. Now which queue do I do? So this is sort of the whole chaos that we are hoping to see if we can break through from this mess that we have. Note here, EB1 is current, and EB5, which is not, I should have put a slide there, but EB5, which is another, the next option that I'm going to talk about, is also current, okay? Next slide, please. Now, the EB1A. I guess many of you may be familiar with the EB1A. It is what we call the Extraordinary Ability Green Card. And most people have the question for me isn't EB1A only for PhDs? I'm not a PhD holder. Like, how can I get the EB1A? It's actually not true. EB1A is not only for PhDs. EB1A can be used by anybody who is able to show a demonstrated record of excellence in their field, in whatever they do. That field could be arts, sciences, business, education, sports. Obviously, here in the Valley, yes, it's pretty common to do business and sciences and tech, but you know, people are, nowadays you have, thankfully, like there are so many people who are exploring options beyond just the tech, and I've consulted with clients who may have like a record of success in arts in back home. They may even be athletes. They may kind of be exploring newer trajectories, and it's a great way to see if one of your partners, in case you're married, like you can see if you can leverage that towards the green card. Now, I won't go so much into what the legislative criterion is. It's kind of listed on the side. You know, you have to show, how do you show a demonstrated record of achievement? How do you show excellence? Now, the regulations list 10 criterion, and you need to show that you meet at least 3 out of the possible 10. Assuming that you don't have a PhD, or you don't have publications, and you don't have, you don't have a research-based background, basically, this is how I say that you can meet the EB1A criterion. Many people here, you have been working in engineering backgrounds for 10, 15 years, right? You may even have some patents, scientific contributions that you've made. You may have led major engineering projects and initiatives. You may have been responsible for some big product launches in companies. All those can help you achieve the criterion of original scientific and business contributions. So if you're a techie in the Valley, you've been working at good companies, at good positions for 10, 15 years, that's sort of a pretty, that would be the meatiest part of your application. What's the work that you've performed over these last 10 years that can showcase you are amongst the best of the best at what you do, right? Second would be a high salary. I mean, which means looking at stock options, Facebook, Google, Amazon, people who are working at these, it's really not hard to see W-2s of 250K, 300, $500,000, right? That easily goes on to achieve one of the criterion for the EB1A. Third could be being employed in a critical capacity. You may have led major engineering initiatives in the company. And when you say critical capacity, Basically, the idea is to show immigration how the work that you did was critical to the company. Now, to give you an example, it's hard to show, I mean, think of a company like Facebook or, any of the bigger ones. How do you show that your work was critical to Facebook? Like the work of an individual contributor, right? I'll give you an example. I worked with clients who were responsible for sort of, the engineering issues around protecting child abuse online. Now, that's a major legislative reason for which Facebook had to make massive amount of investment towards this. Now, this is critical capacity. You may not necessarily be an engineering director, or you may not necessarily be sort of a CEO or a C-level executive, but the work that you are doing is important enough for the company to be qualified as critical capacity. So now, right here, you meet 3 out of 10 criteria. Now, then there are ways to improve your profile. And those are things that we recommend. How about you judge hackathons? How about you kind of get yourself invited to speak at some prestigious events? How about you participate and win hackathons? That to achieve the criteria for prizes or awards. Now, right there you have about 4 criteria. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, it is not easy. Simply meeting 3 out of 10 or 4 out of 10 does not automatically qualify you for an EB-1A. Even after that, there is something called the final merits determination, in which we have to elevate your profile to that of which is strong enough to be considered. But at least it's a great place to start to explore, and there is absolutely no downside to it. It doesn't jeopardize your current EB2. It doesn't blacklist you. It doesn't do anything else. You may lose a little money, but honestly, in the big scheme of things, you are gaining far more than what you're sort of losing. Okay, let's go to the next slide, please. The national interest waiver. The national interest waiver is an EB2 criterion. So you may ask, well, how does it help me? It doesn't help you jump ahead of the queue, but what it does do is it keeps you away from the dependencies of the employer. So at least if you have your own NIW, it's not that every time you are switching a job, your employer has to start the perm process and the I-140 process all again. And I don't know how many of you guys are facing it. I mean, some people are nodding, so I guess they understand that. But right now, the perm process is messed up. It's taking 11 months to get a prevailing wage determination, okay? So if you don't have that much time on your H1, you don't have the luxury of going through a perm process and then the company getting, like, Facebook had a massive issue with perms, even though they were doing all the compliance, right? They had to go through, you can't lay off and do a perm at the same time. So think about all the problems that your perms are going to get through if during a recessionary sort of phase. So having your own I-140 kind of at least protects you from that. Now the next slide is the EB-5, which is what I would really, really love to talk about. And this is honestly the fastest way for an Indian born to get a green card. Period. That's it. Okay? Unless you're single and you choose to marry a US citizen for love. That's sort of the only option that you have. And EB-5 is an investment-based green card. What it does is, the investment amount, depending on the area you make an investment, it's 800,000 or 1,050,000, in return for which you and your family get a green card, okay? A great option if your kids are not born in the US. Because if your kids are also waiting in line, you will most likely never get them. They might not see the EB2, EB3 queues move forward. Now, the reason I'm particularly drumming on the EB-5 and what is the legislative changes that came. Now, EB-5, I mean, the processing times are long, priority dates are current. So you're not waiting in line like the EB-2, EB-3. What happened in May 22 is, now with the change in EB-5 law, you can file an adjustment of status along with your investor visa petition. So like think of it as investor is the I-526, which is like akin to the I-140, the immigrant petition. Along with your investor petition, you can file an adjustment. What it means is, as soon as you file your EB-5, You will get a work permit, you will get a travel document, you'll basically have everything that it takes but the actual green card. This change was not there earlier. So earlier, people who filed an EB-5 had to wait 3 or 4 or 6 years, maybe, or depending on how long it took for the I-526 to be approved before they even got an EAD. So people were like, well, I'm making all this investment and I'm still waiting 4 or 5 years. Like, does it make sense, right? Now, you can make that investment and you have everything but the green card. You have the work permit, you have the travel document, and this is really huge. I mean, this will free you from the H-1B queue. No more waiting in line for getting appointments at the consulate. Like what? It's about a year now to get an H-1B visa stamping interview at one of the consulates. And it is, I don't think I have enough time to talk about the green EB-5 per se. I do have some material about the EB-5 that I'll be happy to share. But and people who already own homes, right? Like you can, maybe down the road, you can actually use your home equity as a way to fund your EB-5. A lot of people in the Bay Area who've bought homes 10 years, you may think 800K is a lot of money. Honestly, it is a lot of money, but it is an investment. And if the investment is made wisely, you're not losing the money, you should get it back. And some easy ways to fund it could be, for example, a loan against your home equity line of credit, stocks, salaries, property from India, gifts from parents. I could talk about it for the whole day, but obviously this is not the place. But definitely, it's a totally worthwhile option. And if you're, as I said, maybe divert the funds towards an EB-5 or towards the home. That's sort of the question. But even if you have your home, you can leverage it towards the green card. So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. I'll be here for questions if anybody has any. And even if you have them now and there is time, I'll be happy to take those. I have some material about the EB-5 that I can share. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I didn't know about the home equity can be used for the EB-5. It's a good source of information. If you guys have any questions to Sveta, do please talk to her. She'll be around here.
And thank you so much, Shweta. That was wonderful. Of course, immigration precursor to anything you can do in real estate or anywhere else. So very topical, very timely, and thank you so much for such valuable information. I hope you're enjoying this afternoon, lunch and learn, and you're having a good time of it. Again, we want to thank our grand sponsor, Catherine Pham of Golden Credit One Union, and she's here. If you want to check out anything, she's right there at the back, so you could ask her as well. And moving on, we are going to talk about understanding mortgage and family protection. And that's with Eve Sean. She's here with us. She's been in the insurance and financial services industry for 15 plus years. And she now owns her own brokerage and is a living benefits specialist. So welcome, Eve. Wonderful to have you. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? Woo! Happy Saturday, guys. I'm sorry, I'm loud, right? I just want to bring up the energy. So first of all, I want to thank you, Nagraj, and also the team behind. Do you guys like the food here? Oh, you don't like it very much. Do you like the food here? And the environment, right? It's so much information. So I wanted to just make sure that I want to give you guys information short and sweet and get to the point. So if you don't mind, next point, please. Great. So first of all, have you guys heard of a company called National Life Group? Raise your hand. Besides, you guys kind of talk to me on my booth. Actually, if you look around, you've never heard of it. And I'm actually happy with it. Why I say that? Because our company, how we got our product pushing around in the community is by word of mouth. By today, me sharing it with you. How much does it cost the company? Not a dime, right? So what we do is we turn around, we give more benefit, more features for you for free. Who like free stuff? None of you guys raise hand? Should we not do the price drawing later? Right? So that actually speaks volume to me. National Life Group actually has been around for 175 years. It's the second oldest life insurance company. The first one is New York Life, 177 years. I mean, they're as old as dirt, right? Next slide, please. So here's our company highlights. I know you guys probably cannot read it, but we are number 1 in Index Universal Life and also number 1 in fixed annuity for the employee contribution plan. We are AAA company. 40 billion right now is in our asset. Our business module is do good, be good, and make good. So on the other side of the PowerPoint, we actually do a lot of volunteers, a lot of fundraising for people that's less fortunate than us. So this is a very reputable, very longevity company for 175 years. Next slide, please. All right, so on this chart, again, none of you guys can see it, but it's a puzzle. It says die too soon, becoming ill, or live too long. I mean, any of you guys has a crystal ball that's working? Can I borrow it? Probably not, right? Because we don't know when we're gonna die. Do you know when you're gonna get sick? How about you live too long and run out of money? As you guys can see, a lot of time, we see a lot of older people that's working in Walmart now or McDonald's. If they have choices, I don't think they want to work, right? So that is part of the plan now. We're also taking care of it as well with the one product. Next slide. Next slide, please. And next slide. All this you guys can see. But it's cool. So today is actually a life insurance. So when you go out there, get your mortgage or buy your house, typically, the loan or the banker will ask you to what? Buy a mortgage protection. That is a life insurance. But traditional life insurance only serve one thing. What is it? If you die, right? So if you die, then the insurance will kick in and pay your mortgage. But can we agree that we actually get sick first before we die, unless you got murdered or accident, right? Next slide. Next slide again, please. So on this right here, our life insurance with living benefits means that you don't have to die to use, meaning you still can use it while you're still alive. So what do we cover? We actually cover terminal illness. Okay, so let's say if someone has a $1 million life insurance policy, it got terminal illness, you can what? Pre-use that money, get up to $1 million tax-free lump sum. Take that money, you can do whatever you need to do. Long-term vacation, it's your money in the bank, you decide what to do. The next one we talk about is chronic illness, which is similar as a long-term care, right? A lot of times people say, you know, Eve, I don't really think about long-term care when I'm old. That's a myth. I don't know if you guys know an actor called Christopher Reeve. Superman, first guy that played the Superman. So the last 5 years of his lifetime, he actually fell from horseback riding. He paralyzed from neck down. So, you know, when you see him in some kind of Academy Award show, he actually is sitting in a wheelchair because he couldn't even move his finger like this. So our life insurance, when you ever had an accident, need a long-term care, guess what? That $1 million will give you $10,000, $20,000 a month. So you can hire someone to take care of you. I'm getting this because I really cannot imagine my 72-year-old mom come and wipe my butt for me, right? The next provision, we call a critical illness. And this is, we have about 14 coverages right there. But most we hear is heart attack, cancer, and stroke. By show of hand here, do you guys know anybody in your community or friends that actually have long-term care, heart attack, cancer, or stroke that currently suffer? None of you? Oh, there's one. Right? Oh, no. Oh, okay. You guys don't know anybody that has cancer, heart attack, stroke? Oh, there's one. Okay, great. So usually what happens is that it suffer what? Financially, because that breadwinner or could be the housewives, right? Now they cannot function. What they usually do is bring home the income or taking care of the kids. Then what happened to your mortgage? What happened to your bills? Because can you call your bank or can you call your landlord and say, you know, I'm very sick right now. Can you give me a break on my mortgage or my bill? Tentatively, they say, I'm so sorry, but your bill still due, right? So that same $1 million life insurance coverage will help you cover that as well. Last but not least is called critical injuries, and this is the only company our company will offer, and that's literally cover coma, traumatic brain injuries, paralysis, and severe burn. So people get coma and traumatic brain injury usually from accident. You can be the healthiest person, but you cannot avoid that stupid driver on the freeway, right? So if that were to happen to you, we can help you file a claim. Well, you're in coma, but you can help your family file the claim, so then that way you family can still keep the paying for the, okay? Next slide, please. And next slide again. Next slide. Okay, great. This chart right here is called participating loan. So part of our life insurance, a lot of you probably did not know, you can actually create a pool of fund that's tax deferred and tax free, almost acting like a Roth IRA, where you pay tax now, but you never pay any tax on all the gains. And most importantly is withdraw that money. So if you think that income tax is gonna go up in the future, you better start thinking about where can I invest my money that I never have to pay tax ever again. Next slide. So what participating loan is, when you usually get a loan out of bank, they'll charge you interest, right? Same thing with a life insurance policy. So let's just assuming we put 4% on the loan. Actually, you can go back to the previous slide. Sorry. So that red part is the loan, 4%, but we give you 6%, which is a very conservative average. Our product can do 13, 15%, depends on how you designed it in today's market. That green one is actually the interest we're actually giving you. We call it index strategy, meaning that when the market goes up, your money goes up as well. But the most importantly is when the market crash, which is just like right now, your money is actually locked before it got crashed. So I can actually give you a guarantee, if you put your money in there, it will never go lost, right? Never go negative. And you can talk to any financial advisor, none of them can give you that guarantee. But with this product, we can give you that guarantee. So with that being said, a lot of real estate investment, I talked to some of you, you guys are investing, right, beside your primary home. They actually put their money in this product, which number one, give you a better return, right? 6% is better than the bank, 0.01%, I think. Oh, the other day I actually drove by, they give you 2% on CD, our inflation is 8%. They have to charge you what? Tax. Anything go over 10 bucks, they give you 1099. That's the money you already pay tax, put it in the bank, but they give you capital gain tax. Anything over 10 bucks. But with this vehicle over here, you never have to pay tax ever again and guarantee no loss. So I want to end my presentation. Thank you so much for being here with me. Is there any questions that you guys have for about life insurance you don't have to die to use? Going once? Going twice? No? Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. I do have my booth over there with the Loan Factory, so if you need more information, I'll be happy to give it to you. And I also have some $50 gift drawing. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Eve. That was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much on shining the light on that. And of course, when we're talking real estate and construction and remodeling, we have just the people for you from Vasquez Construction, and they'd like to, share their important tips. Come, most welcome, and let's talk construction for a few moments. Your name? Armando. Okay, all yours, Armando.
Thank you.
Thank you, Armando, for joining here. He's a great guy. He helped me out remodeling my landscaping. You guys don't believe it. He's done marvelous job. If you guys want to look for a remodeling, landscaping, reach out to him.
Hello, thank you, Nagaraj, for trusting us with your project, with your new home. Just want to say thank you to Nagaraj and his family for putting this conference together and having us here. And our family is Vasquez Mill and Concrete. We're a local family-owned concrete general engineering company. We're based out of San Jose. We focus on foundations, retaining walls, grade beams, your whole structural concrete, site, off-site. whatever you guys need, we're here to help you guys with the whole process, building, planning. We could assist you with that as well. I know that a lot of you guys have made the investment in our new property, so why not come over to us and we could help you make your property, make that investment grow. So we'll be here to help. We'll be in our booth, my assistants back there. We have a couple a slideshow going on with various projects, so you guys can get an idea of what we do and how we could help you. We also have some brochures, and we have some goodies over there if you guys want to stop by our booth. Once again, my name is Armando with Vasquez Mill and Concrete, and a pleasure to be in here. Thank you.
That was wonderful. I mean, when you're trying to remodel or do a new construction, it's always, you don't know where to start. Well, now you have no excuses. Vasquez Concrete is right there, so go and check them out. And moving on, we're going to talk about staging homes, which is a crucial part, integral part of the selling process, and which adds value and maximizes appeal. In fact, one study actually found that staged Bay Area houses sold for almost 45% more than houses that weren't staged. So there you have it. If you're a homeowner and you're trying to sell a home and you haven't staged it, then you're leaving money on the table because you can get that and more money back for the asking. So you want to do that, and we are going to learn about the best practices to prepare for selling your home, which is staging. And joining me here is Kathy Lee, owner of CL Design Services Home Staging. They specialize in vacant and occupied home staging and redesigns, serving East Bay and San Francisco. So welcome, Kathy. So wonderful to have you on.
Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. So nice to be here. I just want to say that I'm very privileged to be invited to speak today in this beautiful room that is staged so beautifully. I love the wall decorations, the carpeting, the energy is just beautiful in here, so thank you so much. Staging's become more and more integral right now with what's gone on in our market. You really can't afford to stage. So if you know anybody that's getting ready to move or sell their home, I have some tips, my top 10 tips that I'm going to share with you. But before I do that, I just want to tell you a little bit about me. Do they have the PowerPoint? I'm Kathy Lee, CL Designs. I don't see it up there. Well, I'll just go ahead and talk without it. So we have been staging. I have had my company 22 years full-time, and at that time staging was very not heard of. And when I started my business, I knew that the way to get the word out and to build a business was to network. So I have always been very involved in our local community and meeting with realtors and other stagers to get the word out. And so an event like this is so important that we're all networking together. It's how we build our businesses. And I can't say enough about it. I have joined boards that are real estate related, nonprofits, to meet people. I have always believed that it's better to give than to receive, and I've built a pretty fun, successful business networking with people. So, and I met the man who invited me today at one of those marketing meetings. So we have, over the years, shrunk down our services because we've grown and we were so busy. So we specialize in 4 different services. The first one is a consultation. Sometimes I do not go back. I just meet with the homeowners and talk to them about what they can do to make their house more saleable. I also do color palette consulting because sometimes people just want to know what color they should paint inside and out. And then we do occupied home staging, which I find very rewarding. It's the most challenging when I use what is there add artwork and accessories, but I find it very rewarding. And there's many stagers that will not do occupied homes, especially with COVID, but I love them. And then we do vacant staging, and we do model homes for 3 builders in the area. So I know you heard a few statistics before I got up here, but NAR, the National Association of Realtors, from January to July did statistics, and 83% of all expired listings were vacant. So right there, there's the power of staging. And percent of prospective buyers find a staged home more, they want to go see it more than a vacant home because they can relate to living there. So now I'm just going to give you my top 10 tips, and this can apply to anyone. It doesn't have to be if you're moving. So hopefully you'll learn something. My number 1 tip is hire professionals that are licensed, bonded, insured. You only get what you pay for. Make sure they're a professional. And my second tip is curb appeal. First impression, you want them to go in, so make sure you take care of your front yard, even the front porch, because the realtor is getting the key out of the Supra and they're looking around right there before they go in. Depersonalizing your home is my 4th. If you have a lot of personal photos on the walls, people that are looking to buy your home will stop and try to figure out if they know you, if their children know you, and they're not looking at your home anymore. And they make up their minds within 3 to 5 minutes whether they're going to buy when they come in. My 5th tip is to update your lighting and your faucets. You can actually call that updating, and that's very affordable. And my 6th tip is to repair whatever is broken before you put the house on the market. If the lights are out, change them before you put the house on the market. My 8th one is to replace old carpeting. Fresh new carpet is a very wise investment, along with painting. Fresh, neutral paint will make the photos that are online look beautiful. My 9th tip is to donate and recycle. Go room for room and pack what you're not going to take with you and decide whether you can donate it to a charity. And I can connect you with many if you don't know any, and recycle for a cause. And my last one is the 3 Ps. The Ps are price, presentation, and photos. You can do all the staging in the world, but if you don't price the house right and you don't have professional photos, it's going to sit. So I hope you learned something to maximize selling your home with staging. My cards are on the table. You can go on Instagram, Facebook, and find us. I'm sorry I didn't have my presentation, but thank you for listening and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Kathy. That was excellent. The 4th P, perfect. So thank you for that. And of course, talking of selling a home, nagrajhomes.com is your place when you want to sell a home as well. And there is a custom evaluation report right there, which can price. Kathy spoke about pricing your home, which is so critical. And so you have an instant report right there where you can plug in your address and out it pops with the value of the home. So that could be your starting point, nagrajhomes.com, Nagaraj homes.com. And of course, you can catch Nagraj on YouTube as well. He's got his own channel. Nagraj Anaya is where you want to be for everything that's hot, happening, and trending in the Bay Area real estate. And again on radio, 92.3 FM, Bolly, we're there every Sunday, 12:30 to 1 p.m. So catch us there as well to get a pulse of the Bay Area market. And now when you want to remodel or construct, you're always wondering about the architect, right? Landing the best architect who can understand your needs and then translate them into this amazing abode for you. And we have just the person to talk about the approaches to remodeling, and that's Courtney Miller. He is the principal of EcoBuild Architects, has over 30 years of experience specializing in high-end single and multi-family residential, office, and retail environments, and has worked not only in Boston, in the metropolitan region of Boston, but also in the Bay Area, with special focus on high-performance sustainable engineering. So let's welcome Courtney. Give him a big hand, please. Yes, Courtney. Hi, welcome. Be careful. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you. It's wonderful to be here, really. Hi. You know, and it was wonderful to meet Nagaraj not too fairly recently at another event. Thank you, Nagaraj, for inviting me and putting together this fantastic event. We got to thank you. We really got to thank you. There's so much information going on here. You're having some great food, hanging out. What better way to enjoy your Saturday? And I'm not sure you want to know everything there is to know about residential design, construction. That's too much information, don't you think? Your architect's supposed to figure that out, right? So I want you guys to ask me some questions. You can't even see those slides over there. I've got too much information for you that we can talk about it later. But I would rather that you kind of ask me some questions about what does an architect do? Really, how can they help me? There's an issue here in the construction industry that's related to, you know, that whole supply chain thing they keep saying, supply chain, lack of communication, disruption. How do we keep our clients happy if we keep coming up with excuses? I'm sorry, well, there's a slight delay. The planning department, let's blame it on the planning department, right? Because, you know, COVID, they don't want to do anything anymore. So we can't talk to them. Planning department. Well, there's slight delay in getting the drawings together. Maybe we could, who else do we blame it on? You get the picture, right? So that there's a kind of pass the buck. And if you're paying the bill, you're putting out the money, you don't want excuses, right? Thank you. And, you know, that's why design build, you've heard of that thing, right? How many people are contractors or developers or investors who are already in the design build arena? How many here? One? One here, okay. Well, why is that important? Why is design build starting to take jobs away from us architects? You know, the old, traditional model is you go get the architect, and the architect brings in the builder, and then we go and, to the planning. We do all this stuff, and the architect maybe gets his engineer. There's all these different contracts, right? So the owner is like, man, that's a lot to manage. There's a lot that can happen. And the only true, there's the high-end market, right, where the really up there $10 million homes. You really do need a top-of-the-line architect who is going to be there all the way through, and you're going to pay them a lot of money. You have to, because it's big, it's expensive, and complicated. Now, how design build has sort of stepped into the market is more not in the multi-10 million, godzillion, fantastic top of the market. It's more in the middle range where you can't really afford the architect to be on board all day. And so you have a design build team where they follow it up. They follow up all the way, along the way. That's kind of what you want. And so as an architect, even though I'm not in a design build firm, I try to model that sort of collaborative team building effort to make sure there is that kind of communication, that we don't drop the ball. And so that now, why does Why is the architect kind of important? If you want to do something different, it's easy, you know, if you don't really want the architect to be around, you just give me the drawings, I'm done. See you later, guy, you're gone. We don't need you anymore. Bye-bye. Then you better stick to standard. Keep it standard. Keep it everything right off the shelf. Don't try anything different. Because anything different, you're in trouble. Because it's just not going to get done right. Construction, right? The architect does have to help you. For example, let me give you an example. The all-electric home. How many people are interested or already have an all-electric home? Anybody here? Solar, and you've got all that appliances going electric. Anybody? No one yet? Come on. We got to decarbonize, right? That's the mantra. In this audience, I think that's the right one. That's the right one. We got to have the right mantra. Let's do a mantra. I mean, to be successful, we got to really sit down and meditate. So my point on that, the all-electric home, there's something called mini splits. How many people have mini splits in their house? It's the most efficient way to air condition and heat your home. And it's done all over the world, except for here. You know, Japan, Europe, they all use splits. India, right? It's super hot. Where's my mini split? It's beautiful. It's on the wall, evaporative cooling. Now, a good architect, they're gonna do more than just throw the plans at you. Here's the plan. See you later. Bye-bye. They're going to help you engineer, design your mini split system so it's not ugly. It's not that thing sticking on the wall. Have you seen that thing that just sticks on the wall? Come on. That's not the way to do it. So that's kind of what architects do. They care about how it looks, right? You care about how it looks. So we have to go that extra distance to help out. You know, this stuff isn't figured out. Mechanical contractors, they don't know how to do it. I call all these mechanical contractors. All right, how do you conceal the mini split? You guys, I know you guys know how to do it. They don't. So that's the role of an architect. You have to kind of say, hey, can't we do it this way? Okay, maybe, yeah. I think we can. And so those kinds of questions. Now, I'm going to ask the audience any questions you want to ask me. Anyway.
When you decide to hire an architect, what is the split of responsibilities between the client and the firm that you expect folks to come in?
Okay. If you're just going to hire an architect, what are those responsibilities? Great. Okay. So the question is, if you're going to do the more traditional way, you're going to hire the architect. You really want you want somebody to be your agent. You really want that key designer that's going to represent your interests. What do they do? What is my scope? The first thing is obviously, how much is it going to cost? The architect, he's got to bring the builder in. We got to get schematic design going. Once we have that, plus a build, and we can start scoping out the price. You guys want to know the price. It's not just the design fee. Help me get on budget. So that is the essential scope of the architect. He's got people to bring in to get you that price for that beautiful design that you want to do. Any other questions? Any questions other than what you want your architect to do, or how to do a successful, affordable construction project? Okay. Should I try to get an affordable one versus a higher end? Okay. Oh, that's a great question. What is the consequences of going affordable on your architect? I think that's part of what I was discussing, is that if I like do a little soccer kick on the things, do the punt. I punt. I let you have the drawings and see you later. There's consequences, right? Because unless you have ultimate confidence in your builder that they're going to deliver, they know they've got the design finesse, they know how to read those drawings, they're going to take care of everything, then maybe you don't need an architect. During the construction process, that follow through, it's called construction administration. It costs more, right? It does. Any other questions? Well, thank you very much. It was fun. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for giving us, getting our minds on the right approach, because I know it's like a horrendous thing to land the right architect. So good to know of you and what you offer. So there's Courtney Miller. And of course, before we move on, I want to again thank our grand sponsor, that's Golden One Credit Union. And there's Catherine Pham. She's the loan officer there. Catherine, are you available to say a few words? Thank you so much for sponsoring this event, and along with Nagaraj Anaya of nagarajhomes.com. Such an amazing session to have everything under one roof, right? So yeah, thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you so much for Catherine for grant sponsoring this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nagasha, for having us. I have Francisco. We are working together with the One Credit Union. Hi, everyone. And we have a raffle around before we're leaving for the Apple Watch. If you have a chance to stop by and write your name down.
Yeah, thank you for having us. This is a wonderful event. Thank you so much for having us here. We're Golden One Credit Union Home Lending. We are based right now in Campbell, San Jose office. We had an office in Pleasanton. We have a number of offices within the Bay Area. Our main headquarters is in Sacramento. We're one of the top 5 credit unions in the state. Very popular.
We're number 2 in California.
Are we number 2? We're number 2 in California. Fantastic. So improving every day. So so very popular right now, especially with the state of the market right now when it comes to real estate and lending. Not sure if we have our, we do. There we go. Excellent. Good. So we have some information over here, basic information regarding the credit union and so forth. That's stronger together. A credit union, what's the difference between credit unions and banks? Not for profit, we're owned by members. Founded back in the 30s. Our service standards are excellent. We always strive to provide great service to our clients and our members. Now, this is this is what we're here for. We offer purchase loans, refinance loans, home equity loans, and lines of standard like any lender does, okay? We provide financing for primary, secondary homes, and investment properties, okay? With financing, what's very popular right now, at least we're seeing some clients right now that they're investing in secondary properties. So your secondary property, if you want to receive a secondary property interest rate as opposed to an investment property interest rate, the home needs to be 50 miles out from where your primary residence is at or from where you're currently working, okay? So that's relatively important if you want to save on interest rate. If you're looking at an investment property or a secondary property, it needs to be about 50 miles away from where your primary residence is at to qualify for a secondary property interest rate. Secondary property interest rate is going to be the same as a primary property interest rate, which is very important compared to an investment property interest rate, which could be about a point and a half differential, okay? So that's something to keep in mind, all right? Say you're looking to buy a property in Lake Tahoe or somewhere east from here, an investment property, that would be considered a secondary property, okay? So it needs to be about 50 miles out. So that's something important to keep in mind. I have clients that are investing in secondary property homes. So as long as we qualify you at a secondary property rate, that'll save you a lot of money on your monthly payment. Oh, next up. And also the secondary, once again on the secondary property guidelines, you could put as low as a 3% down, depending if it's a jumbo loan or if it's a conforming loan, Your down payment minimum would be about 3.5%. This is the standard pre-qualification process that we're involved with. We go the last two most recent pay stubs, of course, your W-2s, tax returns, and so forth, bank statements. The big thing is that makes us unique is that we take all kinds of visas, okay? The EADs, we're very flexible when it comes to H-1B1s, H-4, L-4, L-3s, and so forth. Student visas as well, okay? There's some lenders out there that will not accept anything but an H-1B1 visa, okay? As long as we have updated documentation that everything's active, we're going to be able to when it comes to your underwriting guidelines, okay? So pretty flexible with that regard. We have student visas. The main key thing is that we want to see 2, 2, and 2. That's a standard rule that we go by. 2 years of residency, 2 years of employment history, and 2 years of credit history, okay? If we follow that, then we're pretty much good to go. You can have H-1B, you can be a student visa, okay? So the flexibility is that, say for example, I have a client right now currently who was with Texas A&M University, and they were getting their degree. They were employed by the university for 2 years as an intern. 2 years. They recently got a job with Cisco Systems 4 months ago. They're good, okay? Even if they're on a student visa, OPT. Okay, so that's acceptable under our standards. There's some lenders right now that don't accept student visas at all, or EADs. So we're very flexible when it comes to the visas and the employment visas that are acceptable when it comes to qualification, which is big right now. The flexibility is very important when it comes to trying to purchase those homes right now. There's a lot of lenders that don't offer that flexibility when it comes to your visas. Debt to income ratio, that's something we are very flexible with as well. For jumbo loans, we're looking at 45, 46% debt to income ratio. Okay, so we go by your total income, okay, and then whatever your debt is, we divide that up or subtract it out. And if your debt to income ratio is about 46%, we offer a little bit of flexibility, right, with that. We could get a pricing exception on that. A lot of places do not. We're seeing lenders go as low as 43% debt to income ratio. So we offer flexibility. If we go about 46%, then we could get a little bit of a exception for you, okay? When it comes to, that's for jumbo loans. Usually over here in Santa Clara County, Alameda County, Contra Costa, anywhere within the Bay Area, you're looking at a jumbo loan being over $970,000. That's considered a jumbo loan, all right? So we could go 46% debt to income ratio on that, with an exception. If you're into the conforming loan range, then we could go basically, what is it here? Debt to income ratio anywhere, 48%. Yeah, we could go about 50% on a conforming loan, so even more flexibility, okay? So say, for example, your loan amount in the Bay Area, this Bay Area region, is going to be under $970,000, okay? Then we could go up to 50% debt to income ratio, okay? The other big one is down payment. We go a minimum down payment on jumbo 10%. A lot of lenders are requiring 20, even some 25% currently right now that we're seeing. Okay, a lot of being conservative when it comes to the lending standards. Here at Golden One, we go 10% minimum. So right now, especially in this changing market, you could save that extra 10% down payment and keep that money in your pocket instead of putting a full 20 or 25% down payment right now. Okay. Good thing about that is that you save that money in your pocket, and also you could use that money in your pocket to do any fixing that needs to be done to the home that you're looking to buy. So that's very important to people. A lot of homes, they may need little bit things done to make home improvements. You could use that extra funds to put it back into the home to do whatever you need to do to make that home your home, basically. So that's very important when it comes to 10% down. The PMI is very low as well. 10% down minimum up to 1.5 million. The PMI is very low. Okay, we're looking at. We've been seeing PMIs $120 a month, if not less.
So basically, the PMI is we require everything is under 20% down. But the good thing is we can remove your PMI without refinancing. So you don't need to worry about the PMI. You're just thinking this is a way better than getting the second loan. So that's a good thing to not refinancing, but just remove your PMI.
The PMI also, if you go 15% down payment, we're looking at PMI monthly below $100 a month. So I've been seeing $80 a month. So PMI is temporary. So it just depends on what you value. Do you value trying to get as low of a payment as possible while paying more down payment? Or do you want to save that extra money and paying a less down payment down where you can still qualify for a comfortable monthly mortgage payment with a low PMI that's going to be potentially gone within 2 or 3 years, if not sooner?
Let me piggyback about the rate and the loan amount. So basically, with us, we have anything with more than 675,000, we still can give you a good rate. So you don't have to necessarily to big loan amount like 900,000. Even with the loan around 675, we still give you a jumbo rate. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to go outside of San Jose or Santa Clara. You can to Manteca, buy $720,000 purchase. We still can give you a very good rate.
We could still give you an ARM rate, which is very popular right now, the 7-ARM or 10-year ARM, as long as you qualify under the jumbo guideline standards. Jumbo guidelines, you will need anywhere between 10 to 12 months of reserves. Reserves are very flexible. It doesn't need to be liquid money. It doesn't need to be money that's cashed out. We could use 70% of your vested balance in stocks and 70% of vested balances in 401k or any other retirement funds. Okay. The other big one is that we offer 100% gift funds. Okay. So we could use gift funds from family or friends, okay, towards the reserves or the down payment. Or cash to close, whatever you're comfortable with. The reserves is temporary. So once those gift funds are wire transferred in to escrow, once your deal is closed, the funds are wired back. Okay? So we could take 100% of gift funds from family or friends. A lot of lenders are only allowing gift funds. They aren't even allowing gift funds right now, from what I understand, some lenders. So we do offer that flexibility. We just opened it up, actually. We're allowing gift funds from friends. It used to be just relatives. So now we are allowing gift funds from friends officially. Let's see, we're on any more. Next slide over here. Yeah, a little bit of credit score information here. When it comes to the jumbo qualifying rate, credit score information for jumbos, we're looking at 720. 720 qualifying for jumbo. Okay, minimum FICO, there is some flexibility at 5 or 7 points. So if your FICO falls about 713 or 750, we could potentially do an exception for that. Conforming loans, we go as low as 620 credit score. Next. We got to go next, or we're dancing over here. I don't know if you... So yeah, that's a little bit of information. Next slide. Yeah, fixed versus adjustable rates.
So like earlier when you mentioned we are big in adjustable rate. At this market, I think we are nobody looking at 30-year fixed loan, and we're just trying to maximize our principal reduction. We have very good at 5 years, 7 years, and of course 10 years. But I mean, at this market, our rate is very competitive. With 10% down, you cannot really shop anywhere else. As a credit union, we are helping the members get in the house, not like another bank. We don't have to have a lot of money in the bank, like relationship pricing. We don't have that. We treat everybody. So our member credit union is we try to help everyone to be ownership, and with the lowest low down payment with the best interest rate. That's why we are here.
Yeah, we have a lot of very flexible programs and financing. Right now, the adjustable rate mortgages obviously are very popular right now. We're looking at 7 and 10-year fixed adjustable rates, since the 30-year rates right now are a little bit elevated with the way the market is. But the statistics show, even if you go with a 30-year, 7 or 10 ARM, people are going to refinance at least 2 times within an 8 to 9 year span. So refinancing, it's just, you'll be refinancing more often than not, most likely. So that's why the 7-year ARMs are very competitive rates, and you'll be looking to refinance when inflation probably cools down, rates will be settling down, you'll probably be looking to refinance within 2 to 3 years, if not sooner. Oh, next. Yeah, once again, which product is the best for you? That just depends on what your personal situation is. If you value keeping that extra down payment money in your pocket instead of putting a full 20-25% down payment, then that'll be beneficial for you. It's the conforming loans, 97% that we talked about before, and of course the 100% gift funds, which provides a balance. We do offer FHA conventional and portfolio lending as well. Next. Oh, we go, yeah. Step 2, Buyer Advantage Program. We do offer Buyer Advantage programs. It's basically for folks in the Sacramento area, though. So we go next. That's the steps to finding the right home. And right now, when it comes to negotiating contracts, the way the market is right now, it is more of a buyer's market now. So there is some flexibility when it comes to making offers. So as we know, you don't have to compete with 25, 30 other people when it comes to making offers on homes right now. So it is a buyer's market. So it's something to consider. Yeah.
And I think the big part is not just to negotiate, but we also offer no loan contingency because we have 24 hours underwriting. Most of the lender, you know, it takes at least a week or 2, 3, 4 days. But let's say we have the contract today, tomorrow we will have approval for you. So that way it's just a peace of mind. You know how much you qualify, and the underwriter review and everything. So you just don't have, no loan contingency is a big thing when you're writing the contract. Not just the price, but they know for sure that you're going to get the loan, you're not going to change your mind. So this is what we're here for. And we have underwriting in-house that we can close very quick. So this is very big for negotiate on the contract.
Yeah, it's very big right now. As Catherine mentioned, we have the underwriter review program. So within 24 to 48 hours, we could get an underwriter on your file, if not sooner, to review all the documentation to see how everything looks when it comes before you're ready to make a bid on a home. Next slide. Just a little bit of information when it comes to disclosures. Basically, just be prepared when you do make an offer and the offer is accepted and you're in contract. We try and get disclosures out within 24 to 48 hours as well, as soon as possible. Once disclosures, estimated fee. Okay, so we get your estimated fees from the escrow title company, and then when they give those fees, then we submit it to our processing department and our disclosure team. They give you the initial disclosure estimates that you need to sign to show that you receive them, and then we could order appraisal immediately right after. Appraisal inspections right now, right now with the way the market is right now, we're getting appraisals pretty quick, anywhere probably between 5 to 7 days without a rush being needed. That's the report. So we could get an appraisal done probably within 3 days, but then usually the appraiser, 48 to 72 hours, 3 days before they actually submit their report of the appraisal. So we're looking at about a 5 to 7 day period to actually get the report in from the appraiser, which is very good. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, removal of contingencies, as Catherine mentioned a little bit before. Closing disclosure. Closing disclosure is sent out we try and get that done probably within a week and a half before your final approval. So closing disclosure basically lets you know, hey, this is what we're looking at before we get final approval, and this is what your final numbers are going to be. That needs to be signed, and you need to initial that. And then after 3 days, we have a waiting period. So after the 3 days is up, then we could move forward with your loan signing as long as we have final underwriting approval. Next. And that's the funding recording process. Basically, once everything's signed and everything's funded and recorded, then you get your keys and you're officially a homeowner. Exciting times. Actually now, yeah, but this, we're here for the rest of the day. It was a pleasure being here. Thank you for having us. If you want any more information from us and you have any other questions regarding our credit union and what we have to offer, Catherine and I are right back there for any more questions for you, okay? Thank you so much for having us. Could we start dancing? Thank you so much.
Thank you. I mean, the soaring mortgage prices are such a concern for everyone. Thank you for giving such in-depth knowledge. And of course, that's Golden Credit Union. They are our grand sponsors. And now I'd like to introduce you to a company, to the CEO of a company that is revolutionizing, mortgage, one refinance at a time. And that is Loan Factory, that's Thuan Nguyen. And he actually has been a friend of the community. He started having talk shows and advertising on South Asian radio since over 6 or 7 years. In fact, I have hosted his shows for so many years, and it even went on television, right? So it was the only show, mortgage show or any other show, which was simulcast on the radio and the television. And he started with just one shop in San Jose, and it's grown to 44 establishments nationwide. Loanfactory.com is the place that you want to be. Get your instant rate quotes, alerts, and everything for the community. And that's Thuan Nguyen. Give him a big hand, ladies and gentlemen.
One more update. There is an investor named called Gani. He bought 20 properties around the Bay Area. You can talk to him. He will not be speaking, but he's around here. I can show him how did he build up 20 properties around in a Bay Area, and how do you do it? It is it's not happens one time. It takes gradual years of investment. And how do you think about it? He bought a property in Stockton for a 70K also. Correct? Now the same property is around 350K, 400K. But when he bought a 70K in Stockton, people thought you were making a bad decision. But he is having a positive rent flow now. Okay? If you want to talk to him, I can show him. Please talk to him. Gani sits there. Gani, you can talk to him. How did he build? And he has a good experience in building in out of state. A lot of people ask me, is it good idea to buy a house in the out of state? He has a personal experience, and he knows it's not worth investing in out of state. Do talk to him, and he'll give you some good ideas and tips to him. I think this event is all about networking. If you have any questions, do talk to me. There are other experts around. Do free to talk to them so that everybody gets benefited around here. Thank you, Thuan. Please carry on.
Thank you. And he's also my client too. I've been helping him many properties, and I might help him a few more. So I myself an investor too, and I buy a lot of properties here in the Bay Area, in Florida. So if you have any question about investment, how to borrow money to invest, come talk to me. Anyway, I've been helping thousands of Indians for many years. So I'm very familiar with people. And we all have good credit score. That's the best about Indian. Excellent. When an Indian client come to me, I'm so happy because they all have excellent credit score. We protect our credit, and that is the best thing. Okay? So it's good, and then the second best thing about Indian is we shop around crazy to get the best rate, okay? And that's good. But a little bit thing that hold you back, you're afraid of around. People will pull your credit and hurt your credit. Please do not afraid. Within a month, you can pull multiple times, your credit stay the same, okay? Secondly, you can ask them to soft pull your credit. Your credit won't be affected. Okay? So that two things is important. Thirdly, when you shop around, don't let them pull your credit. Ask them what is the rate. They're supposed to give you an answer. If they don't give you an answer, they are not good. You walk away. So shop around is the best thing. And I'm going to give you one minute the tips. It only takes you 1 minute to save you a lot of money. I have the best rate for conforming, not jump, but conforming. So you go to my website, loanfactory.com, check the rate, and if anyone can match or beat my rate, they are good. Go with them. Easy, a minute. Check out the rate on my website, loanfactory.com. Okay? It will save you a lot of money and time. Because if you don't know, you shop around, let's say 3 different lenders, what if all 3 of them have high rate? Right? How do you know what is the best rate? You have to pick someone that have the very good rate and then compare. That is how you can shop around to have the best rate. So it's just some tips with you. The new, I want to update you with the new regulation, the new law. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they are under pressure to help first-time buyer, low income, low credit people. So soon you will see rate for second home, investment, cash out, the rate will be a lot higher. But then if you are first-time buyer, your income is within 100% of area median income. In the Bay Area, it's 166,000 or less. You get better rate. So that comes down next month. Government is helping first-time buyer with low or median income to have better rate. But then wealthy people, high-income people, investor, cash-out people will have higher interest rate. It's something I want to update everyone. Okay? So I'm going to be around. Come to me, talk to me. If you have any question about mortgage, I have license in 44 states. I am the #1 loan officer in the country for the last 2 years. And I have helped thousands of Indian clients. So come by and if you have any question. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Tuan. And of course, I can vouch for how the rates at Loan Factory, what you see is what you get. And of course, recommended by the Scotsman Guide for several years now as the top loan originator of the nation. So loanfactory.com is where you want to go. And of course, they say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? And that's no more true in financial planning than it is in other aspects of life. So we are going to learn a little bit about financial planning. And helping us through that is Binchin Wong. Let's welcome him. His expertise is in investment, insurance, and planning. He's a PhD from Carnegie Mellon University, and his background has been in engineering, banking, and finance. So let's see what he'd like to share with us. Welcome, Binchin. Welcome.
Thank you for your warm intro. Can I have my slide? So, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming, and also thanks Nagaraj for giving me this opportunity to share some information on the financial planning. So for this, because the time is limited, I'll just give you some informational. If you do want like investment or tax advice, please consult with your financial advisor and CPA. This is my intro. I think I already mentioned I had a PhD from Carnegie Mellon and has been in the industry for many years, helped many families, companies doing the planning, insurance, retirement plan, and investment. So let's talk about why should we have financial planning. Anyone has any thoughts? Or you would think, okay, I'm still young. I don't need to plan. Yeah, I had a lot of people think about that. But see, they always think of, okay, after I retire, I could have a lovable spouse live with me, enjoy my luxury home, and enjoy the sunshine. But the reality is harsh. Only 5% of the people, that's the data. I'm an engineer, so I like to put the data, 5%. How about the rest of the 95 of the person? 95 of the persons, they are struggling. Why they are struggling? I was so surprised about this data. Because the lack of discipline on the saving. Because Uncle Sam wants more tax on us. And because the market has a risk. I think many people here in this Bay Area, you still remember 2008. What's happened? Your 401k become 201k, 101k. But luckily, it's not 001k because not every company bankruptcy. So that's a good thing. And we also know people live longer. And you know, when you live longer, you have more health issues. And if you look at this picture on the right side, I pulled this actually, it's a few years ago. I cannot imagine this gentleman, 87 years old, what he's doing, not enjoying the retirement life, looking for a job. Can you look around all the grocery store, anywhere? You saw like 87 years old, what he's doing. I have no idea about it. But that's the reality. I hope everyone come here. You come to looking for the answer for the retirement, not be one of the gentlemen like him. So let's see. What's our expense after retirement? You have three parts. One is very basic. What do I mean basic? You need the food. You need the gasoline. You need the car. You need the insurance. And most important, don't forget, we are in the United States. This lovely country gives us a lot of advantage. One advantage for the Uncle Sam is tax. Don't forget your tax. And the second part, we may need some recreations. We want to give the kids some gifts from time to time. And when we're getting older, we need the medical bill. Someone has to pay for it. So what's the solution? Solution number one, Social Security. Use it. Anyway, use it. It's a government. Use it. And how to cover the rest of it? The income annuity. What's the income annuity? I'm not going to give you detail, but it's a program actually give you guaranteed lifetime income. So it covers basic your needs. How about the recreation part? The green ones. The green one, we can use short-term investment. We can use 7702 tax-free income and also accumulation annuity to cover those costs. And for the health part, the medical bill, use the long-term care coverage. So once you have those ready, at least your retirement is okay. And we are living in California, Silicon Valley, and people always think, okay, we are in the center of the universe. We know everything. And we have so many genius, scientists, engineers, but sometimes we are too confident about our own planning. Can you go next? If any of you know this gentleman, Leo Nanderman, he is a genius, physicist. He won the Nobel Prize. But how his retirement looks like, he has to sell his Nobel Prize medal to cover his medical bill. So life sometimes do surprise us. So what should we do? We should accumulate our wealth. I know this font may be too small, so I can read it for you. What's the formula for the wealth building? Time plus the return minus, be careful, minus inflation, the risk. So for our fortune, we have 4 aspects to have the leak. So the first one is inflation. The good news, inflation is not that high annually. That's only 3 to 4%. So you'll be surprised, okay, 3 to 4%. But if you look at the inflation this year, it's 8. And a bad news for everyone. You can do nothing about it. That's really a bad news. But I'll give you a good news. Good news, the rest of the 3, you still have a chance to control. The risk, how do you do the investment? How you diversify? What do you invest in? And the tax. Do you have the tax strategy that can help you? And the last one is health coverage. So, oh sorry. Yeah. So Do you ask yourself a question right now? Does your family has a goal? Does your family has a strategy? Or like most of the people, they know it, but they just ignore it. Think about it. So let's look at the tax. We love Uncle Sam, and Uncle Sam loves tax. They love our money. If you look at this, the top income marginal tax, we are around like 40-ish. We are below 40. So it's very good, everyone. You only work for the government for 1 quarter. The rest of the 3 quarters, you work for yourself, you work for your dream, you work for your family. That's a good one. But, like I said, Uncle Sam, they love the money from you. So California, follow it. California has already in the bill. 2024, the top marginal income tax increased 2%. So it's from 12.3 up to 14.3. That's just slowly beginning. So the next one, I'm talking about long-term care. People think about, this is a health? No, it's a tax. We know from the data, 7 out of 10 people, they need long-term care. So the government really consider everyone's needs, say, okay, yeah, we are going to take care of you. But the next question is, who's going to pay for it? Yes, that's right, it's you. So the state of Washington. The state of Washington is formed to honor George Washington. And they really care about the people, so they already passed the bill. If you don't have a long-term care coverage, the government is going to tax you. So how about the California? Look at the map. All the colored ones, that means like Washington State, it's already enforced. California, New York, it's very close. And California possible will be sometime next year. And for the rest of the states, they already proposed. So this thing you also need to consider. How can you avoid this? Yeah. Next. Yeah. And the third one, it's also about the tax. But you can definitely do this. Do you think about to leave some legacy for your kids? For your grandkids? Yes, you do. But the government, they also want the fortune from you. So the government gives you some happy pill, so you'll be happy till 2025 for the estate tax exemption. And then it's cut half. So I would really suggest you, if you had a chance, talk to your attorney to do something about the estate tax exemptions. Definitely take advantage of that. Next. So right now in the market, anyone interested in stock trading? Can you raise hands if you're interested in stock trading? Only a few of them? Okay, so you're very good. Look at the stock market on Friday. Dow Jones has been down for this year, 7%. S&P 500, oh sorry, Dow is 7%. S&P is 17% down. NASDAQ, 28% down. You still like the stock market? Yes, because it has up potential, but also it has also downhill potential. So what's the best way? The best way is to invest smartly. Try to use some instruments to help you to find some principal protected investment, downside buffered investment. This actually helps you. It helps you to avoid the risk, but also it keeps you the opportunity for the upside chance. And also, I had so many engineers ask me in this Bay Area, how about the house? I want to do some real estate investment. Yes, that's a good one. Why? It's very simple. Saying real estate, the growth is more stable. And most important is what? Real estate never had a bankruptcy. You always have a house. So why not? So let's look at when we talk about the planning and we talk about the retirement, what exactly we want to look at the sixth aspect. You need to think about where's my emergency money comes from. If I need some money, where's it come from? And you have to think about, do you have the protection for your family, like life insurance, health insurance, long-term care coverage? And how is your retirement planning was doing? How's the investment return? Do I have a better vehicles I can choose? And also, do you plan the fund for your kids' college? Don't neglect that. The rate increase is more than the inflations. Annual increase is 7 to 8%. So you definitely need to plan for that. And how's your investment doing? I know I saw several people have a stock. I'm not going to ask you what's your return this year. I'm assuming it's not that bad. That's good. So think about your investment. It's a good time to do some adjustment, and it needs to be reviewed at least annually. So if you haven't done that, consult your professionals. And everything about this here, the last thing, and also it's the most important thing, is the tax. You can do different strategy to save tax. Don't give to Uncle Sam. Give to your kids. Give to your family. So just a little bit things beyond the planning. People have the 4 quadrants for the knowledge and awareness. And most people, they are in the area 1 and area 2. Which is people know what they know, and people know what they don't know. So engineer will say, okay, I'm going to Google. Yes, that's very good. Google, I like Google. Google gives you a lot of information. But a lot of people actually, we have the quadrant 4. We just don't know what we don't know. So I'm asking the engineer, if you don't know what to Google, how can you Google? So on the planning side, be smart, but not too confident. Talk to professionals, get some advice. So the last one, we are in the middle of some of the crisis. We heard the news in the Bay Area in the past few weeks. A lot of companies has a layoff. And you look at the stock market, it's going down. And if people are interested in crypto, the market has shrunk more than the stock market. And what's the future for the next year? How the economy is going? How's the gas price? Anyone knows? We don't know. I mean, you can find a lot of expectations, a lot of guessing, but it looks like the picture, if you can see clearly, it's like the storm. So ask yourself, where are you? Are you just swimming in the sea by yourself and afraid of the storm is coming to kill you? Or you are in the yacht, you feel a little bit safe because you are in a yacht, but still you are not quite sure. Or you are in the cruise boat. You can have a very delicious meal, enjoy the wine, and then look at the window outside and say, oh wow, this is a really phenomenal weather. So the storm is the same, but where you sit, you have different feeling, and it determines your future. So last words, I'm not the author of those books, but if you're interested, I strongly recommend you to take a look. This is a very good book. So finally, just know the trend, plan for better. And yeah, last one. Yeah, last one is my contact info. If you ask me any question, just contact me. Thank you.
Very nice presentation, and what a thought-provoking. lot of food for thought right there on financial planning, and hope you've been taking notes on that. Thank you, Bin Chen Wong. Appreciate that. And when you want to turn a house into a home, you needed to radiate that positive energy and vibrations, right? And that's where we look to our ancient Vastu Shastra for guidance on all of that, on making that house a home. And that's where Dr. KVN Prasad comes in. He is a researcher and consultant in astrology and Vastu, and with more than 20 plus years of experience, he holds a PhD in astrology and provides simple and effective remedies for Vastu doshas. So let's meet with him. Thank you, Dr. Prasad, for doing this. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope a lot of people are interested to buy a house, and some people might be interested whether this house is going to make home, like she said, right? So let's see what is Vastu Shastra and what is the impacts it is going to make, and what remedies, fixes we can do. Before that, next slide. So just about me, I'm also IT professional like many of you. I do program management. Astrology and Vastu is my passion. I'm doing it for more than 20 years, and I have a PhD in astrology as well. Some of the predictions I made, we all came through of COVID. When COVID was hit on peak, I predicted on March 8th, when we will get the vaccine. I predicted that exact date, and we got the vaccine. And I also predicted that time market all crashed, right? Everybody is worried. What happened to my 401k? What happened to my investments? Blah, 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 right? Including myself. So I predicted when will the market recover, because people were worried. So when I predicted that from March 15, 2020, the market will pick up, nobody believed it. But you can see, check the Dow, see the curve, how it has gone up from there onwards. And then, and again in 2021, in April, I predicted when we will get another variant of COVID, Omicron. The exact date I predicted, 21st November 2021. That is the first case of Omicron found. So this is just about my previous predictions. Yeah. So today what we are going to talk about, we saw that. So Vastu Shastra, right? Vastu, in Sanskrit, Vastu means house. Shastra is science, right? It's a science about our house. So what do we need? So basically, Vastu is nothing but balancing our energies, our positive and negative energies flowing into the house. Okay, after when the sun rises, sun generates a lot of energy. It has to come inside our house, goes through everything, and then goes out. So how we are managing that energy is all about Vastu Shastra. Okay? So, okay. Oh, that effect is not coming. Huh? Okay, that's fine. Okay, so this 360-degree Vastu, right? So normally, what generally people look at is like the first picture, north, east, south, the 8 directions, right? But it is never the case. No house will map to this exact degree. Okay, doesn't matter whether the house is in India or in US or anywhere in the world. It never be like this. The houses will be different. So we have to take into account total 360 degrees. Okay, and then in that 360 degrees, where this each component, that is your main entrance, main door, your kitchen, your burner, your toilets, where your commode is, your bedroom, all that has to be seen. Unfortunately, you can't see, I don't know, projector is a problem, but the entrance it will be different. Okay, so I will be calculating the entrance and each component according to the degree wise, not like the other picture, what I have, you are seeing. Okay, next slide. So impact of Vastu, if you have good Vastu, what it does, it generates positive energy. So positive thoughts will come to your mind. The moment you get positive thoughts, all the decisions, whatever we are making, either in our career, education, family, everything will be good. Then our life will be very peaceful and happy. If the bad Vastu is there, that means we are getting more negative energy into the house. So we are unknowingly taking the negative energy. That will cause health issues. Our mind will not be clear. We will take wrong decisions. Lot of our time, we make wrong, incorrect decisions, right? Because of that, we lose mistakes. We do mistakes in our job. We do mistakes in our relationships, and etc., etc. And you will get the health issues also, right? So if you look at it, can you zoom that? Yeah, okay, good, thank you. See, this is what I'm talking about, right? So this 360 degrees, I'm further dividing the 360 degrees into 32 zones. So it is like 11 degrees per zone. Each zone has its own effect. It is not like, say for example, everybody thinks Northeast is the best entrance, right? Everybody wants Northeast entrance. If you take Northeast entrance, what will happen? If the entrance is E1, if the zone is E1, there will be fire accidents. If the zone is E2, wasteful expenditure, and girl child will be born. Okay? So that is one. And if you just come down and people talk about South, people think South is bad. Okay? If you take the South, see this S4. It is right coming on the South. That is, you will have productive output. Whatever job we do, our output has to be productive, right? I have to do my job perfectly or good. Then I will get a good performance appraisal, good raise. You know, if I do a job or business, it doesn't matter what you are doing. Our output will be productive. That is more important. That you will get only in S4, which is south entrance, okay, which falls in south direction. And if you take S2, that is growth. Who doesn't want growth? Everybody wants growth, whether you do job or business. For that, you need entrance in S2 zone. Again, where it is falling in between southeast and south zone, okay? Now, what is the problematic one? I will tell you that. That is S7. If it is S7, we can't do anything. The only solution is close that door. All other zones we can work out, we can do some remedies. But for S7, there is no other choice than closing that entrance door. That is the only problematic entrance. The best is W4. Why W4? W4 is the entrance that will give you the happiness in life. At the end of the day, what we want? We want happiness, right? A lot of people think money. No, money won't give you happiness. So W4 is the one will give you happiness. If you want money, take W3. W3 will give you good money. Okay? So this is just a very high level on Vastu, 360 degree Vastu, what I do about. It is much more detail oriented. It's not like just blindly saying, okay, this is not, this is east, this is south, like that. Okay? Next slide, please. So the remedies, what I give is mostly non-structural changes. Okay? I will be giving you some those items. I will be placing those items and you can see it. Is it possible to play a video? That link? Is it possible to play? It won't? Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Okay, never mind. I thought I wanted to show one live demo. It's like a 2-minute video only. I did for one of the Vastu consultation. Instantly, I remove the negative energy generating from northeast toilet. Everybody is worried about the moment you see toilet in northeast, the sky is going to fall. Okay, that's a brand new home. I just placed one item that will reduce the negative energy and increase the positive energy. Immediately seeing is believing, right? Nowadays, we are all IT people, engineers, doctors. We want everything seeing is believing. So I did that. I can send that link to you later. Maybe I'll share with Nagaraj, then he can share it with everybody. Okay? That's all. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer. My booth is there. Thank you so much.
KVN Garu, it's manchi topic. I think I want to talk a few things about this. See, I bought a house 1.5 years back. As you said, right, like it was like I started, the purchase was still ongoing on. I called some priest around. The priest, as soon as he saw the house, he told me, don't buy the house. You know that, right? As soon as somebody says, don't buy the house, how it will happen. I was like almost into a contract. I need to put a deposit next day. Even my wife said, no, don't take it, don't take it. Okay, we backed out. Okay. But I looked at the property around in Santa Clara. I nowhere I could not get such a big property in Santa Clara. Okay, then I think I didn't knew that time you do the Vastu. So I reached out to one more guy in India. So he told me, Nagaraj, buy that house. Good things will happen to you. Okay. I trusted him and I put an offer second time again. But the thing is, next time when I put an offer for him, he said, it was something on 1.9 house. I gave him 1.9. He said, no, I don't give you. I told him, okay, I'll give you 2 million. He said, no, I don't give you. 2.1, he said, no way I'll give it to you. Then I convinced his brother also and finally made him to accept the offer for 2.12 million. My wife was asking, are you crazy for this old house, 100-year-old house? Why are you going and buying that kind of house? It's true, right? 100-year-old house. But I know the value of the house, the location of the house, because in Santa Clara, 3,500 square feet, 10,000 square footage lot or 12,000 square footage lot, you will never get it. I convinced my wife, I will do something for that. I know how to do the remodeling for this house. Okay, finally I convinced, talking to his family and all. His brothers were somewhere else and all. I talked to them. I was like literally knocking his door every day. Give me. Because I know something is in there. Because when I contacted the one guy in India, right, what he told me, Nagaraj, that house is surviving for 100 years means that so many people stayed in that house means the positive what it brings in, right, it will make a change for you. Okay, I finally bought it for 2.12, spent crazy money of remodeling, but positive things happened to me, okay? Because I didn't go just based on the money for that. I know there is something in it. Because now I should go, if I would not have bought based on the first guy referral, right? Then I think I will not have got this property and so many good things happening around here. It comes down to what you guys trust and the right contacts with you. Like for example, he said, right? For everything there is a remedy. If you just put it into your mind as a back burner, it's always going to hurt you. Thank you.
I just share one more example, like it just reminded me. One lady contacted me during COVID time. She said, Prasadji, I need your Vastu consultation. Fremont on the mission side, right? Uphill, 3,500 square feet. Imagine the value of the house. Okay, so she consulted some Vastu person. I don't want to name, she did, okay? So whatever, that person said, oh, this is the bad entrance, you should immediately destroy, or close this entrance. Okay, she got scared and then she asked me to consult. I said, COVID, I'm not stepping out. She said, no, please come. Since it is Fremont, I went. I said, don't worry, that is good. Because we have to look at the overall picture, not just the entrance. She has been living in that house for more than 20 years. From 1999, she has been living. Her husband is a successful entrepreneur. He has a good, successful company. Her children both are well educated and all working. I said, you lived in this house for 20 years plus years. You created your whole family here. How this entrance is going to create bad things now? after 20 years. If at all, it should have done all that in the back then itself. So I gave a remedy for that also. And then there was very good positive things happening in that house. Basically, there is a water stream, natural water stream going on the northeast side of her house. Natural creek was going. I told her, as long as that creek is flowing, you are good. She was so happy, then she was so happy. Even now I'm getting goosebumps because she was so distressed and so stressed out when I met her. But she's happy. So you have to look overall picture. Just don't go look by one factor and then decide, right? Especially in Bay Area, it's very, very hard to get a house.
True, right? Like, see, Vastu is like done. I don't know how many, I'm not so much educating on the Vastu, okay. It is like, it's done so many years back, and I think it was done based on the previous years of housings, right? Like it was like more of hut or what kind of older houses, right? Because if there was like, because this all information I got when I spoke to one of the Indian guy, he's like expert in the Vastu, he said. Nagaraj, see, Vastu was done 100 year, 120 years back based on the housing we built in. Right now we don't have any fire or like what we do it, right? Everything is changed now. Okay, a lot of people have changed or upgraded by themselves, but still some people are just go beyond that. But for me, see, when people ask, I don't want to hurt their opinions on the facing of the house, right? But always you should be knowing when you're going, facing of the houses means, north facing means you are giving a premium of 100K or 150K. Okay, you see number of new model constructions right now. The first house which sells always are the north facing homes. I don't know what, because even the contractors or construction companies, right, they know that north facing homes are a premium home.
Because we educated them. Yeah. Because we educated them. See, again, north, right? In one street, all houses are north facing. That means what? Opposite side is south facing? Is all south facing people are beggars or what? They are living.
100K less. Correct? That's a decision you guys make, but only thing is, at the end of the day, you will be facing hurdles in the house if you go against them, right? Which you are going to compromise always. It's comes down to you both making a decision or family making a decision, because always we associate, if something bad things happen, hey, I told you like that, don't buy that, right? See, house never brings it in. As you said, happiness is what you guys always end up in, right? That's what it makes it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Prasad. So the relevance of Vastu Shastra in today's real estate transactions and how they could help you. And now we're going to end this on a very happy note. We have a singing mortgage professional right here. That's May Lu from PNC Mortgage, and she's here to share her thoughts and also her songs. So welcome, May.
Oh, caught in a bad romance. Ra ra Roma Roma ma ga ooh la la, want a bad romance. Ra ra Roma Roma ma ga ooh la la, want a bad romance. I want your ugly, I want your disease, I want your everything as long as it's free. I want your love. Love, 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 I want your love. I want your jammer, the touch of your hand. I want your little steady kiss in the sand. I want your love. Love, 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 I want your love. You know that I want you, and you know that I need you. I want your bad romance. I want your loving and I want your revenge. You and me could write a bad romance. Whoa. And me could write a bad romance. Oh. a bad romance. Whoa, caught in a bad romance. Ra ra, Roma, Roma, ma, gaga, ooh la la, want a bad romance. Thank you. I think, are we having enough fun yet? So I stop it. I want to stop it, okay. Good afternoon, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mei Liu from PNC Bank. Today the weather is very nice, warm and sunny, just like a sunny, bright day in month of May. So you'll remember my name. My name is May, the month of May. Thank you very much. And then just now, the doctor said, money is nothing, but happiness is the most important thing. Hope my singing bring you some happiness. Thank you. So I'm from PNC Bank. How many of you know PNC Bank? Please raise your hand. Wow, surprise. Really surprised. PNC Bank is mainly East Coast bank. And 5 years ago, so the bank actively expanded to the California. Today, I want to make my presentation short and impressive. Now we have a very good news for you. Right now we have a very good CD, 12-month CD. The rate is 4.8%. So don't hesitate. Go and open a CD account if you want, okay? 3 months CD is 3.9%. 6 months CD is 4.4, and 9 months CD is 4.6, and 12 months CD is 4.9. So I super rate. Even though I'm not in the banking department, I would like to share this good news with you, and then you can benefit all of us. I'm in the mortgage side. I've been in the mortgage since 2003. I've been working as a brokerage in the brokerage channel for over 10 years. And then later on, I work in the mortgage department in Citibank, in Bank of America, and in Wells Fargo. And at the beginning of this year, I switched to PNC. Why? Because most of my clients are just got by PNC. So I just wonder what kind of good stuff they have. So I went there. Of course, we have the rate, competitive rate in the market. But the most important thing, we have very good guidelines. For example, for a loan under 1 million, we only require 6 months reserve. Okay, and we can also do 80-10-10 loan without PMI for total loan amount up to 1.5 million. It's very good, okay? And for RSU, we can take RSU income. If you have 2 years RSU history, we calculate it very straightforward. We take your previous 2 years RSU income and average them. So right now, because the market comes so much down, and if your company's stock come down very much, and then we can still use previous 2 years RSU income, then that means your income will be higher than just calculating at discounted price right now. But if you don't have enough 2 years RSU history, we can still use the RSU income or bonus, but that will be in the discounted price. And then the good thing is we have equity line, but our special is our equity, we can have it on investment property. And I think we are the only one offering equity line on investment property. Okay? So we have many good new stuff and old stuff. And if you are interested, please contact me directly, because I think we have a lot of things in detail we can talk about. Thank you so much. So nice to be here.
so much, May, for that high note and that beautiful song. Thank you. And folks, you can get in touch with her. And of course, we are almost at the end of our presentations, but I want to leave you with entrepreneur Marshall Field. He let us in on the best kept secret when he said, and I quote, "Buying real estate is not only the best way, the quickest way, the safest way, but the only way to become wealthy." So I hope you take that to heart and you've been inspired by all of these different presentations and this event that we've put up for you for taking that step in the right direction towards owning your real estate, investing in real estate. And of course, a big thank you to the man behind it all. That's Nagaraj Anaya of Nagaraj Homes.
Thank you so much for all you guys attending this event. Hopefully it brought in some information to you all. See, home buying is not one-day job, right? You can't get up tomorrow morning, I want to buy a house. Sometimes it's an information decision. It takes a lot of time. And it's all, see, when I help out my clients also, there's one client, Praveen, we just went into a contract recently. You can talk to him. Whenever they come to me, I just give them the informations. Okay, and the right points to them, so they can make a decision, because it's finally you guys are staying in the house. I just can give you the information. What I help you out is giving the right set of informations, because you do a Google nowadays, you get so many questions. Where do you go for it? Google is more like a wife, right? Like before you start saying it, it will complete it for you. It doesn't even allow us to complete us the question. Okay, my wife is watching at me. Yeah, but yeah, it's just for fun side apart. See, that's what I try to bring in. Like my value addition is, I've done the mortgage and the real estate. Like when people come to in, I don't want them to go and do the mortgage at different place. I just give them the right set of information where they can shop around. Okay, that's where this all event also was started in. Thank you so much. I think the next fun part is the raffles.
And also this is going to be an annual event, hopefully, so we can look forward to this next year as well before Thanksgiving.
Catherine, you can start with the raffles first, like who is your lucky winner, you can come and announce it. Yeah, please come over. Yeah. Please go ahead.
We have the raffle for the Apple Watch. Catherine's drawing it. I am not, so please don't be upset. Whoever doesn't win. Go ahead. Okay. Well, we're going by. Oh, okay. Number 14. We're going by numbers, yeah. 54, and the name is Mahesh.
Oh. Oh, go get the
There's the winner. Yeah. So he's going to go after, not us. She has the equipment over here, the Apple Watch. Thank you. That's the big winner. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Do you have any words to speak, Mahesh?
Yeah, I was, saying whatever Nagaraj was saying. I started with, exploring a home buying. But, so I knew Nagaraj and, he guided me, with all set of information. Finally, he put offer for one of the house and we were lucky to get that house in Milpitas. Thank you, Nagaraj.
It was very difficult to convince him also because he always wanted to escape back to India. I think I pulled him back here. That's what his wife always will be saying to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Nagaraj.
Kevian Prasad Garu, do you want to announce your winners?
The first winner I have is Praveen. Congratulations. Small gift, $30 gift card. Thank you. Second winner is Kishan. Kishan. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, Subrata Saha, Farmers Insurance is here, and he's also giving gift cards. So, yes, who has won the raffle?
Hi, my name is Subrata Saha. Yes, Nagraj.
Yes, if you guys are looking for a mortgage, like insurance or anything on the auto insurance, right? Please talk to him. He has a very good programs around. I think today you used to speak, but he doesn't want to speak today. He was also one of my first client. Okay, not first client, but maybe fifth or seventh client in this year. But he was the toughest client to handle for it. He knows about that one also. But finally, we are two good friends right now. Thank you, Subrata, for joining in, and he helped me a lot on this event planning and everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nagraj. So I think it was really, really helpful to work with you. I know I told you many times that I'll be a difficult client. And you just said home buying is a process. It's not like one day you wake up and you buy a home, unless it was me.
When you're buying a house, right, it's good to have some disagreements with the clients. Because if the realtor is saying something, it doesn't mean it is like you should take it always, right? Because it depends on each person. You can have some agreements and disagreements on that, but it's an information decisions based on that. Okay, that's what I'll try to tell. But good, you're happy now with your house. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nagraj. So once again, my name is Subrata Saha. I am an insurance agent with Farmers Insurance and Brokerage. We do home, auto, umbrella, life, and business insurance. If you have any question, you can reach us, call us, and we can help you evaluate what options you have. So we got two raffles today. One of the raffle winner is Amar. Congratulations, Amar. And the second winner is also with, the name starts with A again, and it's Anand. All right, anybody who can come here fast, like who's going to pick this up from me if Anand is not here? Yeah, there we go. I'll help you go there. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Eve. Yes, Eve, Sean, here. Yeah, and while she's coming, let me give out, a musician, Ray Brown. He said the best time to buy a house is 5 years back. So, keep that in mind as you venture into your journey. Yes, Eve.
All right, thank you so much. Hello, guys. Woo! Last draw. So we do have 2 gift certificates, $50, and Nagaraj, from 1 to 15, what number you pick? 4. All right, I'm going to ask my business partner to help me. Could you please tell us who is on number 4, Mattel?
Nimesh Kharia.
Nimesh Kharia, are you still here? Woo! Come on down. We have $50 Target or $50 Apple. You pick one. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. All right, Nagraj, next set is 16. Did I say 15 already? Oh, so 15 to 28. Pick a number. Oh, pick a number.
24.
24, all right. All right, Mattel, read me 24, please.
Manoj, M-A-N-O-J.
All right, congratulations, Mr. Manoj. $50. Enjoy your Apple gift card. Again, thank you so much for guys being here and stay telling and really applause to Naraj and also the rest of the team and our beautiful host. Yes, thank you so much for doing a great job.
Thank you for. So, as we wrap up, it's been a phenomenal afternoon, yeah? One more? Oh, okay, Bincheng also has some awards to give. Prize, yeah. Go ahead.
Something surprise for all the audience. I just pick from the roast, and I don't know anyone. The final is Raja. Congratulations. Yeah. $50 for the Costco. Hope you're playing well. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So, now we're going to do some group pictures, right, Nagaraj? Yeah. So, everybody get your smile on, your real estate smile on, and we're going to get some pics. And before, while we get all of you on the stage, let me remind you, nagarajhomes.com is where you want to be to check out everything in your real estate progress. And of course, one-stop shop for everything. Check out Nagaraj on YouTube. The handle is Nagaraj Anaya. Catch us on the show every Sunday, Real Estate Roundup with Nagaraj Anaya on Bolly 92.3 FM. 12:30 p.m. every Sunday, your date with us.
Thank you so much, Vijay Lakshmi, to helping us out here. It was a great host. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you all. I think the last is a group photos. Do please come over here. We can have one group photos together.